it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth, maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running
Welcome back. Welcome, actually, not even, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Premade Rampage week number 7. I am Rampage Gravis, the most Rampage man of the internet, joined today by the Random Minion Caster, and we are the game number 1 between the Abyssal Galaxy and the Dirty Diet Brigade. Now, this is best of 3. Both teams have been on a bit of a lose-win streak so far, so both of them are looking to prove themselves in this series. Minion Caster, how are you doing?
Um, Doing great now that we finally potentially started this pro draft. Some bans here. I don't know if that first misband is actually planned. I don't know what's going on anymore. And just for clarity for everybody watching, it was Abyssal Galaxy just looking for an ESUP at the last moment. So they will now have an ESUP slotted in. Miss Lee coming in the jungle position for them here. And that was the holdup. So hopefully now we'll get things rolling.
I mean, most definitely will. But with the one other ban that we did go ahead and miss, we are seeing, AG go ahead and ban out the Caitlyn. On the other side, DDB take out the Akali almost immediately too, and the Yone as well. And so far, these bans are pretty standard so far.
And on the side of Dirty Diet Brigade, banning out the assassins, banning into the mid lane. That makes sense. Soleus has been one of the critical components for Abyssal Galaxy here. And one thing Dirty Diet Brigade have been doing is banning Yone and Yasuo a lot. I guess Peckins doesn't play it, and they as a team aren't comfortable playing against it. Soleus does play Yasuo as well, so we might see that ban come through. That one I'm not sure is quite as high priority. And on the side of Abyssal Galaxy, they are targeting Pachatory here, who is sort of the main carry in the ADC, the captain as well of Dirty Diet Brigade. So Caitlyn, Ashe, both banned out. I'm excited to try and see some new other ADCs other than Caitlyn and Ashe.
I mean, if it's not going to be the Caitlyn or the Ashe, I'm thinking it'll be Senna. Right, more often than not, especially since Senna has been rising more and more with their priority with the meta. But we got a Kaisa instead coming in for Abyssal Galaxy. This should be spicy, Benny Gasser.
Right, normally I'd agree with you 100% there, Rav. Senna should be the next go-to, but then again, their ADC for Abyssal right now is Thanos Top, who normally plays jungle atop for them, so he might not have Senna in the champion pool. And we're seeing globals coming in here for DDB. Shen and Galio being locked in right away, most likely top and mid.
I mean, most definitely so, but I'm thinking this could also be maybe a Galio support as well as maybe a response towards the Kaisa. I do know the Galio does do quite well within the Kaisa bot lane, which honestly I would not be surprised to see. But within response to that though, Abyssal Galaxy go ahead and pick up the Hecarim jungle. So I'm liking this so far. A lot of early game power, a bit, a little bit of feast or famine coming in from themselves. So they're looking to play this game hard and fast.
Sure, and they'll have to take advantage of that. My only concern, though, is that when you're trying to play hard and fast into double global compositions, things get complicated really fast. Because what starts out as a 3v2 can often end up as a 4v3, and suddenly the tables are turned. The Alistar coming through as well here for the Gaming Kitten on the side of Abyssal Galaxy here. So they've got themselves starting to have a bit of a front line here to protect that Kaisa. A lot of AoE coming in, and instead the Senna that you were talking about is going to get picked up by DDB instead.
They most definitely is. Now we know the Dirty that Brigade is known usually for the strong bot lanes, like so. So I am really excited to see if they can go ahead and keep it that strong laning up. Though against the Kaisa Senna matchup, I would have to say it's an overall toss up in my opinion, because like Senna, although quite good, it does take quite some time to really go ahead and get rolling. And as a Senna, I find especially early on, you're not really gonna have push priority.
For sure. I mean, Senna doesn't clear waves really well, but what Senna does do really well is she manages to poke a lot. And so I want to see what support comes through for Dirty Diet Brigade here. Because if they do go for some double poke supports, it actually could work out really well against the Alistar and the short-ranged Kaisa. And we are seeing some more mid-lane bans coming out of Dirty Diet Brigade here. Zoe and Cassiopeia. So they're just piling that on. And on the side of Abyssal Galaxy, I like the Set and Nautilus as well. They want to remove some of the engagement. That Nautilus, not sure it's the best, and Deluxe coming through. So there we go. That's your poke bot lane coming out. Senna, Lux, and Abyssal Galaxy's bot lane is going to be in for a world of pain here.
Already we're seeing it though, but what I'm seeing so far, I mean, I was thinking, it might have Galio support, but you have bested me yet again here on the mini caster. You were right. You called it from the beginning. It was going to be the Galio mid, going up against the Yasuo. for the side of Abyssal Galaxy, we did go ahead and call it. If it wasn't going to be Yone, it was going to be the Yasuo for the mid laner of AG. And now all that remains is what is really, what does DDB want to go ahead and play into the jungle? They're looking to go ahead and play up against Hecarim. So, like, I'm thinking for some early but some solid frontline power, and it is the Jarvan.
Hey, interesting choice here. A lot of sort of AoE crowd control coming out from the side of DDB, but not that typical sort of Oriana team fight AoE where there's a lot of damage coming out as well. They do have the final spark from Lux there from El Dragon, so but they won't do that much damage early. And so it looks like it's more of a sort of reactive composition a little bit here, trying to just protect a lot of AoE, and that's going to be really hard for the side of Abyssal Galaxy to get through. And when you look at Abyssal Galaxy, I mean, we said the Yasuo might go through if it wasn't banned. It does, but there isn't a ton of knock-up here. You have the clawback from Mordekaiser. You've got the pulverize from Alistar as well. So two forms of knock-up. The question is, can they reach the backline targets? If they can, then I think Abyssal's got themselves a strong team fight, but it's going to be very conditional here.
Like, most definitely so, because you're talking about going ahead and getting backline access, and with just how much overall peel, CC, and like lockdown that DDB has, it might be a tougher task than most. Because even Senna too, she also has her own peel. She has her own disengage. So she can go ahead and go into spirit form. Be perfectly fine, along with the root that she also brings out as well. Like, there's there's not too much to worry about. Really, the only target that you can really go ahead and get onto is the Lux, and that's the support. So that probably not just the highest priority target. What I'm looking at more so for the side of DDB is their damage. Like, it's both Galio and Senna are not going to be your like super engager type burst type champions. You're going to go ahead and pick away at the health bars of AG. So like, probably in extended team fights they'd be fine, but on the side of AG, they're looking to just go ahead and run you down and eliminate you very quick.
As you mentioned, that lack of damage from DDB, it's even more concerning because you mentioned the Galio, but we're in patch 10.18 now, where Galio's Q damage was actually decreased
Mm-hmm.
further. There's even less damage coming out from the side of DDB. We might actually see the sort of warrior damage Jarvan coming out from the Thani here on the side of Dirty Diet Brigade, because if not, they're really going to be lacking in damage initially. That being said, Lux is a support if she goes AP Lux, not sort of that Guardian Lux, which was popular last patch. She does bring a lot of damage to the table, but it does take a couple items. And in the support role, it will take longer as well. So I think a lot of it will just come down to the bot lane, and that will be my focus this game, because Dirty Diet Brigade, Pachatory, he's the sort of the hard carry for the team. You look over across the Abyssal Galaxy, and they've actually had to lane swap Thanos top or row swap Thanos top, who's normally their jungler or top lane, into the ADC position. So I'm going to assume he's probably not as polished on the ADC position, which means that there's a huge potential mismatch. And if it really does end up being a huge one-sided fight for Dirty Diet Brigade, then they'll have more than enough damage coming out from Senna and Lux there.
Which could definitely be the overall case. I imagine that this will be the lethality Senna that we're seeing more and more step up into popularity. Which, honestly, I got a ton of fun to play and also be able to look at. Like, she gets really strong overall. I'm also gonna be going ahead and look at Crusader too. Not only in how he does and his top lane matchup. So also go ahead and try to prioritize a little bit of damage early on too, because Ashen going ahead and getting like and getting some AP, but also getting Tiamat early on too, I find can really go ahead and help a lot of his laning phase, especially since he has been like nerfed just a little bit, taken back with a lot of the buffs that he got recently, because I believe his shield not only goes from 20 to 60, so get a lesson by 10 hasn't completely taken him out of the game, but making him not as impressive as he used to be.
100%. That shield passive being decreased does hurt a little bit, and what's gonna hurt him even more now is he's got a rough choice. Like you said, as the Shen, a bit of damage would be nice. Getting the Tiamat to sort of help your split push, that's great. But the problem is he's running into the Mordekaiser now. So if he does opt to build that Tiamat to help his team, it's going to put him in a really dangerous position in that 1v1 against the Mordekaiser. But if he prioritizes just straight tank stats, then again, they're lacking damage here. So DDB is basically going to have to outplay in lanes early to find leads, get gold, get items, or they're gonna have to wait till a bit later into the game when luck starts coming online here. So really, I do think Abyssal Galaxy sort of won the draft a little bit in terms of just being a bit more balanced and having a bit more agency in the early game. And it just comes down to can they execute it, especially with all the last minute substitutions and role swapping they're pulling off right here.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, though, we're gonna go ahead with wait for the delay to go to load down. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back for game number 1 versus Abyssal and DDB. Ladies and gentlemen, mi amigos and mi amigas, welcome back for game number 1 for AG versus DDB. And we're on the riff for these two teams, looking to go ahead and make an impact wherever they can here. I'm Rapture, joined by the random minion Caster. And Minion, what are you expecting to see going into this game number 1?
For game number one, I want these teams to go ham here. It's best of three. Both these teams are better bottom of the standings here, so I want to see lots of action. I think Abyssal's got sort of the priority on movement based on their champions here, and I think it's going to be a Dirty Dive Brigade going to be very reactive with all their global ultimates, with the Senna ultimate shooting across the map, with the heroic entrances from Pagans there, and the Stand United from Crusader. Lots of responsive action. So there should be lots of fights, lots of kills, and yeah, that's what I'm very much looking forward to here in game one.
Yeah, most definitely. So, and we were talking about before as well. Now, both the top laner and also the support for DDB, that being Crusader and also El Dragon, they're both new to the series. They've also just come new, also just come onto Risen as well. So we don't. So both these guys are actually big question marks, right? So I'm really gonna be going ahead, look at the performances, seeing how they do both in lane and in these team fights, which would be interesting because DDB, they're known for the strong bot lanes.
Exactly, right? So now suddenly you change up the support, and Captain With was the previous support. He was doing perfectly fine in lane. That being said, DDB was on, I believe it's a 3 game losing streak right now. So, but the bot lane wasn't the issue, and bot lane seemed to be doing fine. So now they're switching out the support, and the one part that seemed to be doing perfectly fine before is now a question mark. So El Dragon is going to have a lot to live up to here, and we might see an early gank coming out.
Daddy goes in, gets the knockup. Thought I saw the flag and Dragon, but he also should be fine. Taunt out to taking a bunch of damage. Q out, one more auto. That's it. That's first blood going on the side of DDB.
Oh, clean level 2 gank from Jarvan. That's what we love to see. Bot lane, though, they're not stopping.
Yeah, exhaust on Thantos. Takes a bunch of damage. The gaming kitten being chucked out one by one. Has to flash to survive.
They do manage to get out all fine there. And that's one of the strengths of this Glacial Augment Senna there. For a while there, Sennas were going sort of Grasp of the Undying. But are we going to see a kill?
Yeah, already almost immediately. Both flashes born almost immediately from Thantos and also gaming kitten. So, like we were saying before that Senna might go ahead and like not necessarily push it, but necessarily have priority. DDB looking to prove us wrong, keeping that bot lane dominance.
Despite Senna not necessarily being the best pushing ADC, Lux is certainly one of the better pushing supports here. So El Dragon going to be able to help push out, and just with the poke they can put out, they can freely push. They've got a huge minion wave stacked down here as well, so they're actually going to be safe for ganks for the next little while. And we do see the Thani hovering bot side won't be able to dive here. The wave already crashing a bit early, but will be there to just protect them. And so bot lane going to be safe despite pushing out here for Dirty Dive Brigade.
Yeah, this is a huge wave actually crashing right onto right on Thantos top, but we're seeing Misley going also meeting onto Dandy though, but fighting back and forth. I'm not too sure what he was thinking. That was a 3v1. The Scuttle's not worth it.
No, not at all. I mean, that devastating charge was devastating, but it's devastating for Misley instead. And one thing to point out, Misley is that E-sub, so it might have been a miscommunication, potentially just not used to playing with the team, but definitely not a great way to start. As Hecarim, you want to be ahead, you want to be looking for ganks, and now he's dead. He is still up a level from the Thani, but still going to be a bit of a rough start. Gets set back to Fountain, and he picks himself up the Stalker's Blade while he's there.
Yeah, because we know with the Hecarim, he needs to go ahead and get rolling quick too. Like he needs to be able to go ahead, go around him and make an impact on this map. Like he should be zooming around like Sonic, rolling around at the speed of sound here, Minicaster.
He certainly tried. I mean, he even actually used the Ghost, I think, in that last fight, thinking he found the Thani alone. The good news is he's still up ahead in terms of CS, in terms of level, and Ghost comes back up a lot sooner than Flash, so it's not the worst, but he's probably not going to find anything in this bot lane here.
I cannot imagine he does so far, but TP's coming in from the Galio though. As we see, Pachatory has a double buff, just completely stayed them off. Not too sure about the TP there. I guess they want to go for the fight, but not really much engaged.
That is less than ideal there in terms of teleport use, but again, it's a Galio. He will hit 6 soon. He will have heroic entrance, and him just showing up did push Misley as well as Thanos top and Gaming Kitten away, so they'll be able to pick themselves up the first Drake of the game. A nice big Mountain Drake, and normally I don't like the Mountain Drake as first Drake. I don't think it's important, but when you look at how many tanks they have here, it's going to be great for the entire top side of the map for Dirty Dive Brigade.
Some could even say crucial. You're at a minion caster, like considering, like as you were saying, like just going ahead and padding a bit of their extra strats here as tanks, making sure they're just bigger and bigger front lines as the game does go on forward and forward though. What I'm looking at, what is interesting to me is that Pachatory, although he went ahead and got the first kill, look at the CS lead on the other side for Thanos top.
It's really weird, actually. Great thing that you pointed out that he's behind about 18 CS here, and really there was no reason for him being behind that much CS. He was even able to 1v2 a little bit actually against Gaming Kitten and Thanos top. So that is unfortunate. But the bright side for Senna is that at least even if he's behind in CS, the souls matter a lot, and he's about to hit his first 20 souls. They're already on 18 souls, and every 20 souls, that's when he gets that boost in range, which is so important.
Which is good though, as the Danny goes and flashes immediately, uses smite down too. It's level 5. It's trying to dive a bit too far, but Pegging's just not ready at all for that gank.
Bit of miscommunication there also once again. So and it's a bit surprising because both these players aren't the new players, and we do see Misty now hiding in the bush. I don't know if he wants to take this one here. We'll just back off, and it looks like they might actually be roaming to look for something here.
Yeah, they might go ahead and do so though. As we're seeing, they're going up onto the top side to go on to Sweet Duck Melody if they can go and engage, but looks like Pegging just goes ahead and calls it off. Though another note that they want to go ahead and pass off to as well, Minicaster, was not only does Thanos have the CS lead, but so does Solius.
Yeah, and you know, Rav, the other problem is he sat right on top of a ward there, so that would have been really brutal.
Yeah.
Let's start that one off. And he's actually falling behind here in CS and levels as well. More importantly, just barely hit level 6 right now. Compared to Solius, is already halfway to 7. So I think Pegin's spending a bit too much time looking for sort of side lane plays here. He needs to focus on CSing because they're starting to fall behind in just CS in multiple lanes here.
Yeah, like with this too, it's like both Thanos and Soul scale, and they scale quite well. It's like, we do go ahead and talk and meme a lot about the overall like 0-10 Yasuo, 0-10 like Yasuo kind of power spike. Now that comes out of reality because even though Yasuo's down 0-10, as soon as he has 2 items, he's insane. His Gaming Kid goes in for the flash, gets a knock up onto 2 though. El Dragon flashes as well, uses the shield, the fighting back and forth. El Dragon takes a bunch of poke, barely we get a Ignite taking him down. But here comes the hero's entrance. They will not find anything else. And overlocked on the Gaming Kitten though. Flash in, taunt down. Nice Paul, nice hotback to go and knock him away. But one more auto will go ahead and take it, but just cannot find it. And that will be all.
Gonna see if that was gonna be a bit more. That's kind of what we wanted to see, Rav. In the beginning, you asked me, what do I expect? Well, precisely this. Agency coming out, priority coming out from the side of Abyssal Galaxy. Great plays from them. And then Dirty Giant Brigade just throwing down all the AoEs. The Stat United, the heroic entrance, denying everything here. And one thing we kind of didn't touch on was the fact that there's double teleports on top of the double globals coming out the side of Dirty Giant Brigade here. So your window to make plays is so small. That being said, teleports have been used. Crusader did use it to get back to lane in the top side.
Yeah, like he did so to be able to at least go ahead and try to catch the wave, because yet again, these goes and grow, but Hecarim ult out, and that is a deadlocked. As Pachatory might be dead too, was a CC to try to really go in and get out alive, and that was a free kill for Miss Lee.
100%. And that's the thing with Hecarim. Even if you do have wards out, which they did have, he can just zoom his way right into your lane.
As Statty goes ahead, gets headbutted away, though Pachatory fighting that on top by himself, and is here Hecarim yet again. But then he is there, and the rumors for Pagans, can they get anything at all? They'll get the knock up, force the flash out, taunt out, gets 2, that is huge! Coming in for the Galio, that's all, and that is 2 dead here for the side of AG. How long have they been fighting, Minicaster?
It was like it's been going about 10 minutes, but the game hasn't even hit 10 minutes yet. They just keep going back and forth here. And just great roams. I did criticize Peggins a little bit for not staying in lane too much, and he's now almost half the CS of his lane opponent, but that roam was great. Great 2-man taunt. And while Winds of War did get nerfed a little bit on damage, you still can't sit in it. And getting Miss Lee and Gaming Kitten to just sit in almost and full duration of that Winds of War there, just shredded them down, and that should get them the second Drake as well. Ocean Drake, the worst possible combination against a tank team is Ocean and Mountain, and that's what they're going to pick up here for their first hit.
That it most definitely is. Not only are they getting the tank step, but also the sustain. As Pagan's fighting up the middle against Solius, though, it's like Solius doing just fine. He has what they had, picks a little bit of dagger, but oh, here comes Game Kid, knocks him away. Use the Cataclysm to kind of save himself. Like, interestingly, Soul has to go ahead and get out, as all DDB do is just give AG a leash on the dragon.
Is huge here. The fact that Abyssal Galaxy get that leash, that steal, if you want to call it that, because they deny the Ocean Drake here, the most important, most influential individual Drake here, and especially when they're playing against a tank comp here. So they buy themselves a bit more time and just allow themselves to continue their domination of this early game here.
As we see, get the mid side, Solius and Pagans are fighting, but Pagans, you do not want this fight, mate, as he has no armor. As Solius gets a solo kill. Oh, but top side though, Sweet Dark Melody puts in the pull, doesn't get anybody out of it, and Thani should go ahead and die. Sorry, go ahead and get the kill. As Mordekaiser dies.
That was a very good answer back here, because even though Dirty Dot Brigade is up in kills right now, they're actually behind in gold, and they certainly are behind in tempo here right now. It is Abyssal Galaxy sort of dictating where they want to go, and we do see now Shelly being started up by the Thani. I don't know if they did see Shelly charge out here. It looks like they didn't, because Mistley's actually just nearby and could potentially steal this. But he's gonna walk away, so we'll be safe.
I mean, Pagan's fighting yet again up in the mid side up against Solius. He's like, he only now has the Ninja Tabby, so we'll have the most survivability against all those autos, though. But it is still looking a bit tough for him overall. As you were talking about the overall tempo here, animating caster, like that, like definitely so in kills they are lacking. But if you just go ahead and look at the CS lanes, they're looking just perfectly fine because the overall wave management looks very clean. As El Dragon, probably a little bit of trouble, exhausted onto Thanos though. To live another day.
Tempo is more than just necessarily how many kills you get. It's also about who's getting priority, moving first, and who's forcing a lot of the movements. And I did expect Dirty Dot Brigade to be on the back foot and be reactive here. So the tempo being dictated by the side of Abyssal Galaxy makes sense. But right now, they're just forcing it so fast. And I guess this is one of the reasons why normally Dirty Dot Brigade bans Yasuo, because they're not, Pagans can't handle it in the mid lane. Because right now, Solius 1-1-0, but he's just dominating and dumping all over Pagans 2 levels up here. That's absolutely massive. And like you said, that 0-10 Yasuo power spike, well, he doesn't need to wait till the 0-10 here. If he CSs well enough, he can just go ahead and just go 10-1 instead and get item leads there.
Honestly, considering he already has the Berserker Greaves and the Essence Reverse, already a full item up onto Pagans, like this Yasuo is looking to get stronger and stronger and possibly take over the game. We're talking a lot about the overall backline access, for the side of AG. I mean, as Yasuo Tornado would do it.
And that is probably that, and the Onslaught of Shadows the easiest way, but action in the mid lane.
But Cataclysm out very early on though for the Thani. Gets a knock up onto 2 Brigade, but should go ahead and dive here, and he does so almost immediately through to the hacker. It's like the ult coming in very early.
I wonder if that was intentional that they dropped Shelly there at that point in time as well, because they got next to no follow-up time.
Oh, Solius takes a bunch of damage from the turret, but the nice taunt coming in from the Galio. But El Dragon yet again a bit too far. Nice flash.
Yeah, great flash away from El Dragon there. Perfect timing as well, or else he might have fed over and killed 2 Solius, but he did leave Pachtori alone.
Yeah, he is. He's locked up, taking a bunch of stun, heal out. But Gaming Kid up at the side of the tower gets rooted up. Both barely get out of range as he pops the ultimate.
Numbers being exchanged there, Flash and Ignite as well as the Unbreakable Will here for Pachori's Flash and heal as well. But Pachori is still alone, and there is a horse lurking around. Is Misty going to go in with this? He could, but he will not.
I mean, it could honestly easily be a kill, though, as yet again, Gaming Kid rooted up on the tower, and here's that global pressure as Crusader comes in and gives a kill to the center.
Just with the drive-by there, standing United down, teleporting immediately back to lane, doesn't even go to shop at all. And Yeah, that's one of the risks of playing against the Shen Galio there. You have to be constantly aware they're gonna out in. And unfortunately for Gaming Kitten, if Misty had been the one diving, I think he would have been fine. He can just run in, dash back out. But Gaming Kitten didn't have the Unbreakable Will this time, did not have the resistances, and did not have an escape, and therefore will go down, giving a free kill over. And while you do want to be the one setting tempo, you have to be careful you don't give too many kills over by mistakes like that, or you start falling behind.
Yeah, that would be quite bad though. As you go ahead and look at the state of all of these lanes, every single lane in AG is ahead. Like every single one, whether it be in kills or in CS, just overall, it is pressure too. They're pushing in Dirty Diet Brigade so heavily so far, and the gold is actually now in the favorite as well as an up by 2K as Solius is fighting Pegasus yet again. But here's the Cataclysm down. Was the dashes out though, but up outside the river, Pachatori caught up by himself as this should be Drake here. What's not Abyssal Galaxy as the one going to fight more. Oh, there's the last breath as Pegasus will go ahead and take his. Sorry, as Danny will go ahead and take his though. The jungler is dead, and now that's Dragon for Abyssal Galaxy.
This is why they were throwing 4 bans, potentially 5 against Solius here, because the man is an absolute monster. He just soaked up a 3-man gank, turned it around, picks up the kill on the Thani instead, and Pachatori unfortunately just getting caught in a bad position there, roaming by himself, sent a very, very immobile champion. You have to be careful with that, and right now, the kills are starting to pull even, which is a really bad sign because before Abyssal Galaxy was already up ahead when they were down in kills. Now they're up almost about, what is that, 4,500 gold here, picking up their second Drake to boot as well. And that's going to be a Cloud Drake. So really beneficial here for Misty if they do manage to get the Cloud Cell.
Like being up in kills, sorry, so being even in kills right now, being caster is the only thing that even in right now, as you can still like you just mentioned, they're above in they're above in just overall vision, they're above in gold, they're above in towers, they're above in dragons, they're above in just gold here in general for every single laner, and pressure as the engage comes in, hero entrance out. Will only get a shield for Pagans though, as right now DDB wants to look for an engage, gets a kill onto Mistley, looking to get something onto him. All right, we're seeing it already as Seta goes ahead and pops the ultimate flag and drag out though. That's right around the side as Thaddy gets taken into the death realm, as leaving him all by himself, fighting it back and forth though, as this fight has gone on, but no kills have been had just yet. With a solid engage, Dark Melody in the middle of 3, it's a huge smackdown. And here we see it gets pulled on El Dragon though, on the backs of Gaming Kitten, leaving with only 1 health. And finally the Hecarim goes in onto 3 under tower, and finally DDB will finally die, and that is the ace for Abyssal Galaxy.
Clean ace here. Not a single member of Abyssal Galaxy goes down. They played it so well, just juggling the aggro under the turret as well. It took forever to take it down, but they didn't care. It was one person after another. Sweet Dark Melody tanking, going out, Miss Lee diving back in, going back out. You know, Solius starting that one up. Just amazing mechanical play here. It does not feel like they're using an E-sub and a row swap because it's just so smooth for them right there in that fight. And one thing, you know, that you brought up, Rav, when we were talking about the picks and bans was that they are lacking damage on the side of DDB, and that is showing right here. They were the ones to get the catch, and they couldn't find a kill, and eventually everything got turned around on them.
Yeah, not at all though, as Pachatori right now only has a Mana Moon, not even the fully completed Mana Moon just yet, and only the Surya Dark as well. So it's gonna take quite some time before, you know, Santa goes and has the Dust Blade, and also the Rapid Fire Cannon, because once at 3 items is really what you can go ahead really make that difference, right? Does have 55 souls, so not doing too bad on that overall though, but like Senna does not auto attack, you know, like your Lux's, your Tristana. It takes time. Her really plays Qs and autos is really was able to put a consistent damage, but not immediate damage, though, which they need right now in these fights. We were saying before how DDB were gonna be the ones to be able to take these fights slow, as Killer Instinct goes out of the patch. Corey takes so much damage, but maybe Thanos Talk goes in a bit too far to get shut down here by the Jarvan. Missile. He is here under tower, rooted up a little bit, finally able to get out, uses the ultimate. Thanos will go ahead and DC for the 5th time and reconnect yet again.
Looking like Thanos Top is having some issues, but yes, they need to be the ones to. Hold on.
Oh, as a series goes gets caught out on the tower to get rooted up, and finally another shutdown here for Peggins as he gets his mid laner, gets his revenge, and the mid lane tower should go down as well.
To push in for this one, but shouldn't be a problem. Just one more or two more autos there would be enough. And yeah, I mean, I was just about to say, for the side of Dirty Dire Brigade, they need to slow it down, as you said. The tempo is not fast. Tempo is not great for them, and that's how they do it. We criticize lack of damage. Well, guess what? A turret does. A turret does a lot of damage. So if you fight under a turret there, Dirty Diet Brigade, their composition will still beat you, even though you're up almost 10k before that fight starts here.
As we're seeing right now, the Crusader getting a bunch of getting a bunch of damage onto Dark Melody, though, but also losing out consistently out on these trades. He has almost no armor to his name. Opted to go for the Bomby Cinder first for the lane, also the Tiamat as well. Like, I understand I wanted to go ahead and get these tank stats, but you are up against the Mordekaiser with the completed legendaries. You need your MR, man.
Hey, Rav, you called it, right? Like Tiamat, you said, you know, should go ahead, and he did go ahead and opt for that.
Oh, it's El Dragon. Sorry to cut you out the mini caster, but he just barely able to live with a shield coming in. As Misty might be caught out this time. Yeah, goes way too far. As Flag and Drag also out of Solius too. The Touch able to come out, but the Fanny goes and takes that 4 and 4 and 4 on the Jarvan, and this should be the second Drake for DDP.
Part of that was a disconnect from Thanos Top. He ended up leaving that fight when it looked like he was going to go in for that. And Gaming Kid actually hit-butted El Dragon to safety away from Mithley there. And that must be painful because they would have had the kill. They would have had priority on Dragon, except that El Dragon was saved. But meanwhile, we do see Sweet Dark Melody just continuously pounding away on that top lane. He's been holding his teleport. He's been focusing on side lane control instead. And it has been working out for him. He has a huge, almost 100 CS over Crusader here, and he's got like 3,000 or 2,500 gold lead against Crusader. So absolutely massive lead. When Sweet Dark Melody decides to finally join the fights, well, Dirty Diet Brigade had better watch out here.
They was definitely do is El Dragon might be caught out yet again. Jarvan is there, so she's gonna walk out perfectly okay. Though I do have to wonder about the choices of itemization for Sweet Dark Melody. Now, as a top laner, Mordecai is great, fantastic laner, so extremely strong and very impressive though. But considering he's going for more than split push build, he wants to go and stay top. He hasn't really participated in a ton of these fights. He opts to go for the Rylai second. Now, I would assume he's split pushing. Where's your Nash's tooth? You know, just be able to go ahead and knock these towers a lot faster.
100%. That Rylai's build usually is in the middle of the team fight when you've got that AoE damage rolling about on multiple targets, slowing them down and setting up your team. And that's why I'm expecting Sweet Dark Melody to start showing up into team fights sometime soon here. Because if not, the Nash's tooth would have been a much better item build. That said, it does allow him to stick a bit better to Crusader, though Crusader can taunt away. And
immediately, so the Thani have to go to Flag and Drag to barely get out. As Cataclysm out though, but he's up against Sweet Dark Melody. Using stopwatch to stay alive, and the Death Nobody should go ahead and die though. Nice flash out by him, but somebody caught in the middle of the team fight. As El Dragon will go ahead and die this time, and almost everybody on the side of DDB is falling like dominoes, one after another. As that is a double for the side of Sweet Dark Melody, and call that the ace yet again for Abyssal.
Snipe from Thanos Top. He might be having connection issues, but it certainly isn't affecting his aim. The man has been spot on with those snipes there. And yeah, Abyssal Galaxy just really strong right now. DDB never quite figuring out how to slow down the tempo, how to stop Abyssal from dictating when and where these fights start here. I don't think they finish on this. The death timers aren't quite long enough, but they do now have a clear shot at Baron.
That easily. So here, I would be shocked if they don't go ahead and take it, because considering, now go ahead and say it with me, reanimating caster, the gates have opened, and right now DDB's base is wide open. With the inhib gone.
And that mid inhibitor too, it's one of the hardest ones to crack as well, and will sort of split the map completely here for the side of DDB. And it actually looks like Abyssal Galaxy is not going to do the Baron here. They did not feel comfortable enough with all of DDB coming up, and so they will end up actually surrendering all the vision in the area. DDB, I don't think they're going to be able to do this or even stop it, really. The supers are pushing into their base here in the mid lane.
Yeah, one or two of them have to definitely go ahead and back almost immediately if they want to try if they want to just save more of their base as soon as possible. Though, but honestly, I would say that's a pretty good call by Abyssal Galaxy to not go ahead and go for the Baron play, because they would have to go ahead and opt into the fight immediately afterwards onto DDB as well, and they don't want to go ahead and leash that Baron for them. That would be really bad though, but Crusader might be caught out. Flashes immediately, all to use from Mistley though, and this is a dead Shen.
Super bad. If Shen goes down here, that Baron suddenly becomes once again Abyssal's property here. They've got supers pushing in the mid wave. They've got Sweet Dark Melody split pushing the bot side with the teleport available as well, but they're not going to go for Baron. Interestingly enough, they're going to continue just pushing instead. I don't know if they're leaving the Baron up maybe as bait, because anytime DDB goes to check for it, they can force a fight there, and they know that they'll win fight. They already got two aces, not quite in a row because they kind of threw a little bit in between, but pretty much they're guaranteed to win the next team fight if it happens in the next 15 minutes.
Pretty easily so. Just go ahead and look at these score lines. Mini Caster, look at this. Like Mordekaiser 3-1, Hecarim 6-3, Yasuo 5-3. All right, Kaiser 3-1, and then of course the outside 0-2 as the Baron has started up for the side of A&G, but they are very strong right now. Oh, the daddy goes in, Lux ultimate out, so in the center all two, Cataclysm in, and everybody is throwing everything, and the kitchen sinks the 50 feet back and forth, but it doesn't matter. The Misty goes ahead, he gets a smite down though, and here's the fight that DDB wants to go ahead and get, as Gaming Kitten will barely get out alive, but also low on the other side, and he gets the knock up and the last breath right here. That's 2-2. Call it a 2-for-1 deal, as both the jungler and the mid laner get kills, and that is the third ace in a row for Abyssal Galaxy.
If they team fight, they've aced them before, they'll ace them again. And what was absolutely amazing in that fight was actually that nobody died in the first, 10-15 seconds of that fight. Everybody stayed alive. Baron went down. It looked like we might get disengaged, and suddenly Solius just dives in, initiates on 3, and that's it, folks. Game's over.
Yeah, that is really about it so far, man. Abyssal Galaxy with a bit of a rougher early game, falling down into the kills. But as soon as they got rolling, and they ran over this game, whether it be the kills, the CS, and just overall lane pressure from every single one of their laners, like doing so extremely well. But this is a best of 3, though. So anything could happen. DDB, we know them to be a super solid team, and Abyssal Galaxy are looking to go ahead and prove themselves more. So you do not want to go anywhere. We'll be right back here after a very short break.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Welcome back yet again, ladies and gentlemen, to Risen Esports' Premade Rampage week number 7, and we are into game number 2 for Abyssal Galaxy versus Dirty Diet Brigade here after a solid game number 1 for Abyssal Galaxy. They're looking to go ahead and take game number 2 and take over the series, but DDB also looking to win this game back and possibly make it into game number 3. I am actually driving through my meaning Cash. How are you feeling after that game number 1?
I'm honestly still a little shocked at how one-sided the ending of that game looked there. DDB looked like they were trying to come back in, but that was not a good ending. And the bans coming through Akali, Yone, Yasuo, that's what I expected game 1, and I'd be shocked if they didn't ban the Yasuo, because Solius was playing out his mind on that mid lane Yasuo there.
Like, he was so good on that too. Like, you saw, even though, First Blood went over to Galio, like, he immediately went ahead, took over the game, got the solo kill, and exerted so much pressure. And these team fights as well was absolutely massive. And Abyssal Galaxy going and sticking with their bans. Can't really tell what the first ban is just yet, but they do have the Caitlyn and the Set though. But the first pick from DDB will be the Ashe yet again.
Yeah, so that missed ban there is because of their E-sub, so it is confirmed
Yes.
that they lose the ban there. And they did actually switch up, so they banned Kate and Ashe last game to sort of mess around with the ADCs. Instead, they banned Set this game. So I guess they're comfortable giving the Ashe over to the side of Pachitory, and it looks like they might just lock back Kai'Sa. I mean, why not? Thanos top did so well on the Kai'Sa, was sniping people left and right as well, so doesn't have necessarily the best laning into an Ashe, but should still be perfectly fine, especially if they get as much pressure as they did from the jungle with Miss Lee ganking that lane again.
Yeah, pretty easily. So I would actually like to see that Hecarim yet again, but it will be the Kaisa Morgana coming out bot. So again, sticking with the overall lockdown type supports that we saw previously last game for DDB, with the Luxor coming out for them and Morgana. I find, in my opinion, honestly, I prefer Morgana over the Lux to you. Although her binding can't go through millions of things, it's her binding lasts for so long. Along with the Black Shield, is such a powerful tool in lane.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's basically a similar thing to Lux, and the Soraka going to be the answer here from Dirty Diet Brigade. I actually kind of like
Okay.
that a little bit because it allows you to sustain up quite a bit against the Morgana poke, but it's suddenly now a game of dodgeball here. If you get hit by a single binding, well, Soraka is very, very squishy. Ashe is not the tankiest either, and judging by the way Miss Lee played game one, I'm expecting something kind of high damage coming out the jungle of Abyssal, so actually, speaking of high damage, are they going to lock this in? A Nocturne here for Dirty Diet Brigade?
It most definitely could be. You can hear the engines outside revving for this Nocturne as soon as he goes ahead and hits level 6, though. And there was the hacker that we were talking about, saying before, about to see it again, and it is went ahead and locked in for the side of DDB, though. But this Nocturne pick is really interesting overall because I think this could also be a Nocturne mid. It is being flexed right now for the side of DDB, sorry, and then Abyssal Galaxy is actually the one that has the Hecarim, but it's like Nocturne, like the Hecarim too, very feast or famine. But the thing has to be that if the Nocturne either one doesn't get rolling, or if the game goes far too long, Nocturne's bound to fall off and pretty much just become like a stun bot.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, Nocturne mid has been sort of making a resurgence here in the meta, so it could very well be the mid lane Nocturne. The thing is, neither Pagans nor the Thani. Oh, sorry, there was actually a player substitution that we seem to have missed here. It's not Pagans in the mid lane for Dirty Die Brigade. It's Flying Ninja 29 here. So that actually could very well be a Nocturne mid. Flying Ninja does play mid lane quite a bit. I don't really see Nocturne in his most frequently played champions, but we'll have to see. Definitely could be viable. And the Hecarim coming in once again. I like that. It worked game one. No reason why you don't want to mix it up. And the Galio Shen bans, they really don't want to deal with the globals again.
Not at all, as they're all so very, very powerful, and I get it too, because they can be an immediate team fighter, considering Shen with his drive-bys. Like you saw immediately, like he goes in, ults the bunk, gets a kill, and immediately TV's back top to go in and catch the wave. It's like, like he's there, and then he's like, thanks, peace.
And this time they won't have that for sure here, and they did lock in Maokai and LeBlanc, so that means it will be a jungle Nocturne for sure. And the Assassins coming out for here for Pagans, it's not necessarily what he's known for here, so I'm looking forward to see how he handles with the LeBlanc. And it will be the Echo, which actually got banned game one against Solius here with the Yone, with the Yasuo bans. Echo, another assassin, can do the same thing. So mid lane going to be highly volatile with two burst champions here.
Yeah, and immediately I'm definitely gonna be going ahead and looking for, like we were saying before, like Solius in that mid lane, looking to go to take over, and there's Hecarim yet again, which has to pop off. Like I generally imagine it was like especially Missling, even after a bit of a misplay, you could call it, within the level 1, level 2 gang for the Scuttle, a bit of miscommunication though. Immediately afterwards though, it was able to exert so much pressure, get a bunch of different kills, and from there, just like I was saying, moving back and forth, up and down like Sonic. You would think this was Sonic Heroes, but it's a Hecarim.
Yeah, 100% Rav. And the other issue here now is Nocturne is not known as a good early game jungler. Hecarim, very good early game jungler. And Hecarim likes to go fast. He likes to go long. He likes to go deep in your jungle and hunt you down. And Nocturne, very, very vulnerable early here. So if we do see a ton of invasions coming up from Miss Lee, the Thani might have might have a really, really rough sort of early game here. And if the Nocturne is weak and he can't get his ganks off and he's behind, well, Dirty Dive Brigade's going to be struggling a little bit to try and really get anything generated from the jungle here.
Which would the question so far, though, on Nocturne, what past level 6 though? Not like you were saying here, Minicaster, like, but pre-level 6, he's okay, he's fine, he can try to exert pressure. But once that 6 goes ahead, and let's say he's been farming quite well, maybe even got an assist previously. Like the paranoia really does go ahead and strike fear into your hearts. Although Abyssal Galaxy was denied all the ultimates, although DDB was denied still a bunch of the half ultimates, they're still gonna go ahead and at least have one on their side. So I'm really excited for this though. I did want to go ahead and say for the top lane though, Sweet Dark Melody on the Urgot. I'm very excited for this. As I mentioned, I'm a top laner. Urgot is surprisingly good on the top side, puts out a ton of damage, especially early on. So if you get caught up level 2, level 3, Urgot can go in with his pull and with the conquer, puts out disgusting amounts of damage and will tear through your health bar.
Yeah, and one build that has been sort of creeping into the high elo plays for Urgot is actually the Manamune Urgot here, because he can actually proc a ton of those Manamune percent of mana damage there, the increased damage, pardon me, from the Manamune. So might potentially see that. And one thing we kind of didn't touch on was the compositions here from both teams. I'm gonna flat out say is I don't like the compositions from either team. It feels very sort of random in a way, like they don't really work together very well. Dirty Dive Brigade has a couple of globals. You've got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You've got the Wish coming out from Eldragon, like you said, the Paranoia from Nocturne as well. So they can get around the map. They can make some cross-map plays, but it's a bit difficult trying to figure out who you want to gank or where you want to send that. And you look over to Abyssal Galaxy's composition, and there's next to no synergy here. It looks like they're playing solely for lane. They want to dominate the lane. And to be fair to them, that was how they won game one. So if they could smash lanes in game one with the composition, why not just all in on that and just destroy Dirty Dive Brigade before 15 minutes?
Honestly, that might be the overall case, but it does remain to be seen. Considering this is the best of 3 series, Abyssal guys are looking to go ahead and close it out. But DDB, they want this game and they need it to go ahead and continue on and might even go for the reverse sweep. So you do not want to go anywhere. Don't click that mouse button. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes. All right, children, boys and girls, and people from all around the world. Welcome back to the game to Risen Premade with Rashi Gravish and the Red Mini Castro. We're in the game number 2 for Abyssal Galaxy versus DBB. And we will see who will go ahead and take this game here now. Red Mini Castro, after a very promising game number 1, because Abyssal Galaxy saw where they were strong, that being their lanes. Now, with the composition, what are you expecting to see out of this game?
I mean, they've doubled down on their lanes here. Like, there's next to no synergy in team fights, but individually in lanes, I'm excited. There should be plenty of action here. Urgot into Maokai. That's a carry into attack. And Urgot, he's running press the attack here. And it's so easy for Urgot to proc press the attack. So should be able to easily win that in the jungle. Again, it's going to be Abyssal Galaxy, pardon me, who has the advantage there because Hecarim, very strong early jungler. He invades and finds the Thani. Thani's going to have a lot of problems on the Nocturne. Bot lane, we already saw Thanos on the Kai'Sa. And with a Morgana, I like that matchup. Sure, Soraka does okay into a Morgana, but Soraka isn't picked to win a lane usually. She just wants to skill up, become that like massive health pot towards the end of the game. So I think Abyssal has a pretty decent bot lane as well. Mid lane is where I think things could go either way here. Very explosive matchup between two sort of assassin champions. But if Solius plays the way he did in game 1, then Abyssal looks like they're set to run over all the lanes here.
Yeah, they very clearly are, though. But I gotta see right now, Flying Ninja, he's a brand new sub coming into the series. Very much question marks around him. And you see, he's on the gallery, he's already playing a tank. He wants to go on to Solius, though. So I'm assuming that's why the trade was made. So they need something a bit more aggressive to at least gain some sort of pressure somewhere across the map, though. But with this, the early game so far, pretty even across the board. Like looking pretty good. Like some trades going across bot and mid, so not bad.
Yeah, and if we track the junglers for a quick second here, because that's going to be where a lot of action is, you're going to see that Misty already cleared his bot side of the jungle, is already going top side. He's a little ahead of the Thani, and he might very well sort of invade into the Thani's jungle there, and that's why we're seeing a ward defensively placed out here. I believe it was by Crusader here to try and catch an invade, but I think it might time out, and so Misty might be able to actually catch Thani out on the top side, but Thani might be looking for something bot side. Nope, he's just wandering around.
No, he's probably gonna go ahead try to get the scuttle as a spawn. So standard trade for bot, standard trade for bot top side jungle though. For the scuttle. So let's go on and talk a bit more about these two teams. It's actually, we see Solius gets rooted up, takes a bunch of damage, got it down as well, but the flash in from Flying Ninja, and he actually gets the solo kill and barely gets out alive. Wow.
What was that? Less than 20 health? Like what, 15 health? Flying Ninja barely gets
health. 20. What was his health? But that's absolutely insane that he lived there. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's why they substituted, right? Flying Ninja is the substitute this game, coming in from Pegans from game 1. And right away, he's trying to prove why he secured that spot. He is going to be very low, did go back, but he did get first blood, picking up the Amp Tone and the Sapphire Crystal as well, looking for that lost chapter. So he should be perfectly fine into Solius. Does miss a bit of CS, but should be able to be fairly on parity in terms of experience, and that's more important in the mid lane. He's got an item lead as well.
Yeah, it's Crusader though, just getting bullied up on his top side. And I gotta say here, Crusader, I feel you, man. I've been in this region before. The Urgot v Maokai Malphite matchup. It's a bad time. It's a bad time for us. You know, for us tank players trying to go ahead, put out a bit of utility, you know, maybe a little bit of spice, and then we just get pushed in. As Solius takes a disgusting amount of damage right to the face, though he cannot afford to be as aggressive as he was in game 1.
100%. It's rinse and repeat here. The Ignite already almost halfway down the cooldown. If that is up, we could see another kill right onto Solius right away. We might not even need that. He's already down to 1/3 health and taking some damage here. And Flying Ninja just able to start roaming around real early here. I had said Misty has the advantage in the jungle, but if we start throwing mid laners into it, things are going to change real fast here.
Yeah, like it should be a lot of fun because consider last time too, you know, we saw the mid laner for DDB was barely able to really roam at all. You know, like Galio only used the heroes at just a couple of times in those big team fights where everybody was boss side, and once I believe, you know, for a couple of the big fights around Baron, and that was about it. He wasn't able to put out the utility that Galio is so known for. even the early game really went his way. And so far, we're seeing DDB yet again has control of the early game, has the early game kills, but can they convert? Can they keep this going?
And one good thing here for DDB is that they're actually getting the lead here in the early game. In last game, it was Abyssal Galaxy who was actually finding leads to just better laning here. And considering that they've doubled down on that laning composition, basically, as long as DDB can go even, they're actually ahead right here in the game. So we'll be just fine. Just need to survive, and we are seeing some more fights in the mid lane.
Yeah, immediately too. You see, Solis because goes again gets locked up. We'll get the shield from his W. We don't want to trade anymore though, because considering, like, if you look at it, Fly Ninja is a fair amount ahead in terms of damage, and but a bit still a bit behind our farm though. Interestingly enough, Mistley is just about 7 behind on farm compared to the Nocturne as well. But I would also say that's also because Nocturne has been in the jungle more for the Knights, waiting to go ahead, farm up, and then hit 6 as soon as possible.
Yeah, and they're at it again, Finlay.
Yeah, as you see, so as I see a Night Little straight coming in for Solis, but takes so much damage, has to pop the ultimate to get up, but barely get out alive, but the Nocturne is here to defend his mid lane, and that's pretty much solo kill yet again for Flying Ninja. Solis 0-2.
And you know what, Rav? Flying Ninja's Ignite just came off cooldown. He's basically killing on cooldown for the Ignite. So 3 minutes later, we could very well see that happen again. The Dark Steel being picked up by Solius here. He's just looking for that corrupting pot regen at this point. He just needs to try and survive his lane because Flying Ninja, well, he's a flippin' ninja and he's just going to keep looking for kills. And because of that kill, they do give up the first Drake as well. That will be the Cloud Drake going to DDB here. Cooldown on their ultimates. We haven't really seen the ultimates come through yet, but I mean, for Nocturne, picking a 10% cooldown reduction as soon as Paranoia is available, well, that is going to be exciting for him.
Yeah, pretty easily. So here, the ultimate's going to be put to great use overall, and plus Cedia coming in for Flying Ninja as well. Under the block, be able to dodge, blink, and just bop back and forth will be really useful, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. That's just basically any skill she chooses to use with that Mimic Distortion there, just copying another skill or duplicating a skill. And we haven't really looked that much at the side lanes. Top side, though, Crusader is taking a beating, and they are level 6 now.
Yeah, pretty easily. So has to go ahead and use the flash out, but I imagine Dark Melody should be able to go ahead and pop the ultimate. Doesn't have enough damage for the execute onto Crusader. Will let it get out, but that's flash popped up on top side, and Dark Melody is bullying this Maokai.
Yeah, and what I actually wanted to look at originally before they start fighting was look at their CS differential. That is not okay.
Not at all, though, as Daz a solo killer coming from Dark Melody. A Flying Ninja is pathing up on the top side. Both the LeBlanc and the Nocturne are here, and that's a dirt Aragon.
Yeah, 100%. And right now, Flying Ninja is 100% of his team's kills, and the first Paranoia comes out.
Where will it go? Where will it be? Nobody knows. And it will be in the up in the mid side. Solis takes so much damage. Should guy flash here. But jungler and mid laner Mistley is here though. He is going in, gets the Q, the knockback. One more Q to be able to do it. Pops the ultimate, gets the kill. Really good job by Mistley, but the question is, can he go ahead and get out? Yes, he can.
Will be just fine. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow came out from Pachatory looking to try and get Solius as well. Did not find him, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, all the kills right now sitting on Flying Ninja. No one else on his team has kills. So despite them being up in kills and looking really good right now, if you look at the CS, Crusader is just getting his face shoved in, not doing too hot. Now, Mistley's picked up a kill as well. He should be even or fairly close to, or even above the Thani actually in terms of gold. So he'll be fine. Bot side though, Pachatory starting to find a lead, and this was what we expected. He didn't manage to find it on the Senna, but this game 2 on the Ashe, he is getting himself the smallest of leads, and Pachatory is sort of one of the major win conditions here for DDB. Generally is the one expected to carry his team, so if he can't find a lead like game 1, they struggle like crazy. Now he's starting to get a lead. We might see a very different DDB come the mid game.
Which I'm honestly all for here renovating Caster, because but previously they just seemed honestly just overall out of sorts, trying to pick an actual team composition, be able to go ahead and actually team fight though, but they fell so behind in lane, they just could not farm at all. But we see Flying Ninja actually pops the wish to go survive on the mid side, engaging onto the block, but she pops all of her pots to go ahead and live.
Yeah, and that, like, Soraka, pretty much as soon as she hits 6, there we go. The wish comes out, keeps her alive, and the Thani now coming around.
Yeah, as Solis actually pops to run it back, is he might have just fat fingered in my opinion, or maybe just go ahead and clear wave. Though that was kind of quick. I was kind of quick as Dan used that as an opportunity to go ahead and engage up at the mid side too. But Miss Lee is there. Fly Ninja get engaged on like kind of the wrong side, but yet again, Paranoia out though. Soli is way too far.
Yeah, and that was just greed from Solius there. You could see him and Flying Ninja. I think the two of them are enjoying their 1v1 very much, but unfortunately, you got to remember, the DDB still has globals, no Galio, no Shen, but still have the Nocturne. So he can just Paranoia, pop right in, and they get some plates back. They drop Herald as well. They're looking for massive damage here, but they're getting collapsed on.
As Crusader up on the top side too, we see Missley fighting up against the Maroc. He finds the real one, barely able to get out with that little blink. Is that he has no mana at all. Game Kitten needs one, pops the ultimate. And that's a second kill over to Missley. It's a good job by him. As you see, Solis is fighting the LeBlanc up on the bot side, but LeBlanc's so ahead. He's 3-1 here, Solis. You cannot fight this.
Oh, and I mean, if this was Solius from game 1, maybe he gets away with it. But Solius in game 2 here, he's down 0-3-1, and he was getting a 3-man collapse. He does manage to get the inside track back to the mid lane, though. And Flying Ninja actually went back to base, so he'll get another plate for himself there. So despite being down quite a bit of kills here, he is still finding gold and topside.
Oh, man. Sweet Dark Melody jumps a bit too far and takes 2 tower shots to the face as Crusader gets one back. Thousands being way too overzealous.
Yeah, and this is actually really bad here for Abyssal, because like I said, if DDB comes out even, they've actually kind of won the laning phase already, because Abyssal picks so heavily for individual lane matchups. And now Mountain Drake is up. It's looking like the side of DDB is setting up for this here. They are getting the scuttle and they are in position.
Yeah, and even they are right now, as you see Missley going in onto the rock immediately, forces the flash out too, though. Enchanted Crystal Miss will not get anybody at all as they back off the dragon.
These two teams here, Abyssal and DDB, they're so aggressive. Both game 1 and game 2, they've just been non-stop action. You're perpetually looking for something in all their individual lanes. And Dragon is going to be started up. It's going to be a Mountain Drake this time. DDB starting this one up here, and they should be able to get it because Missley not wanting any piece of that action. And so DDB right now in a really solid position, hitting into the mid game here for themselves. Herald will be coming up in about 3 minutes and change. They already did pick up the first one, so I don't expect to see any huge team fights breaking out in the short term, and it will just be back to laning again.
Yeah, pretty easily so here. We're looking at DDB. It's like a very different overall from game number 1, though, looking so clean in my opinion as Urgot gets rooted up, and here's the LeBlanc as well, and he can't do anything at all as Crusader gets the second kill of the game for himself, and Sweet Dark Melody getting oppressed a little bit.
And the Paranoia coming in as well.
Yeah, Paranoia too onto the Echo. He cannot even 1v1 the knocked around in his position. Running back pop doesn't get the damage though, but oh! Hacker just a bit late on the ultimate, cannot save his mid laner, as that is a double for the LeBlanc, and DDB are taking over this game.
Yeah, and that was just absolutely unfortunate. Like I mean, the Thani got away alive there. Like he didn't.
Oh, well, somewhat alive.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's an execute, so we'll consider half a death here. I mean, he didn't give over anything, but he did go down a little bit greedy, and that seems to be the story of this particular game here between the two, between all the teams. They are just being greedy here. We're seeing Solius try and play so aggressively, even though he's not ahead. Same thing with Sweet Dark Melody. Urgot should win that lane, and yet he's given up a bunch of kills over to Crusader now by just diving turrets here.
Yeah, pretty easily. Like, he knows he's strong. He knows he's oppressive, but like he was saying, he's playing so far forward. Barely even has any vision in his lane as well. So giving a chance for Flying Ninja, go ahead, roam up top, and get a free kill for himself as well, though. But it's like, because you see it now, Flying Ninja, he's 5-0 on this LeBlanc, and if he gets out of the backside of any of Abyssal Galaxy, should be able to just assassinate anybody there, though. And this Echo, he needs time, he needs a sideline, and he needs to scale.
Yeah, and to a certain extent right now, the issue here for Abyssal Galaxy is what now? What happens when your lanes that should be winning aren't winning here and can't seem to find any traction? And what do you do against a fed LeBlanc? Because they need to make plays. Missley, 2-1-0 has found limited success here, but he needs to find more ganks. And I think the answer to them is to look at that bot lane, that Soraka Ashe here, because mid lane ain't going to cut it and top lane ain't doing too hot either.
As Paranoia popped immediately onto Sweet Dark Melody. He pops the flash so early, though, before the Paranoia was even completed. And to kill it going over to Pachatory, that's someone, like, he did not need that kill. Like, if you are Abyssal Galaxy, you actually hate to see that. As bot side, Paranoia going to go down as well. As Solius trading so aggressively with his LeBlanc. Why?
And that did not end well for him.
And yeah, like, he'll die for it. That's Solius. Why?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like I said, Solius, I think, is right now. I don't want to say he's tilted. I don't think tilted's the right term for it, but he's playing as if he's ahead when he's not. His CS is ahead, but nothing else is. And right now, anytime Flying Ninja shows up anywhere, it seems to be like kills or turrets going down left and right. Doesn't quite seem to find anything bot side though.
Yeah, that was actually a really big jump coming from Gaming Kitten, though, as Misty goes and pops the stress on two. Wish and knocks him back on the Killer Instinct as well. Paul from Thanos top, looking for Flying Ninja, and that should be the shutdown goal. Yes, it is. But over to Kaiser, that is absolutely massive, as pops the W onto Crusader.
There we go. I said that he should camp bot. Not quite what I meant, but you take those when you're that far behind. But Sweet Dark Melody might pay the price on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, he's taking that fight quite aggressively. He's up in the 3v1, and he's going to get taken down. The Basolius is here to defend the top side turret. I feel like he could have escaped it.
Yeah, I think he was just a little bit late to respond there, and that cost him. Now, Solius has to be careful. Shelly being dropped here. There's 3 man. They could look to dive here, and the Chrono Break not quite up just yet. Should be up any second now, though.
Yeah, pretty easily so. Here's Crusader went ahead, is ignited up, though. W's away to the minion. So much damage out to him, and he has to go ahead and finally get out, though. But that's top side tier 2 also popped as well. That's their 3rd turret for DDB of the game, and the Abyssal Galaxy has absolutely none.
And DDB is just taking over this one here, getting revenge for their game 1 the exact same way Abyssal Galaxy did it through their mid laner here. And for the side of Abyssal Galaxy, they actually don't necessarily want to slow down the pace. They want to keep on finding isolated targets, like what they kind of did to Flying Ninja there. And so Misty needs to start making more and more moves around the map. Look, I continue to say, look to the bot side. Look wherever Thanos top and Gaming Kitten is. That's where they want to look, because Thanos top is actually doing pretty well. He's 1-0, 126 CS here, stacking that mana mute at this point. But he's probably your best thing to get.
He obviously has to be, as Misty goes in onto 2 Paranoia out though up at the back side. He'll go ahead and die for it though, as Solius is barely getting out to Super Tweet medically up on their front line, trying to save anybody off the Flying Ninja. Gets the Q on Gaming Kitten, barely survives by gold. That was so clutch by him. Dark Melody out though, gets a bunch of damage down, but he's not as strong as you think he is. But go ahead and take it out, drag on. And also, the block thing is, well, Thanos top comes in, uses the Killer Instinct and putting that to work. But he dies in 2v1 though, and gives with a shutdown as well.
So normally you want your supports or tanks to die for your ADCs. In this case, Thanos top diving in to try and save his support, and his jungler there does manage to trade his life. I guess it's 1 life instead of 2. Kind of worth it. But that fight was super, super messy. Abyssal Galaxy played it right initially in that corridor. They managed to stop the initial burst from Flying Ninja. They were doing fine. The problem is the re-engage that they couldn't quite get out. Sweet Dark Melody going in to try and buy time and kind of baits Thanos top and Miss Lee and Gaming Kitten all to go in. And because of that, they end up losing too many people. There's no more pressure. They lose Dragon. And now suddenly DBB at Soul Point. They're 3 Drakes here looking at the Inferno Soul, dead in the eye. They're up some gold. They're in a good position. And right now, DBB have the run of the map. DBB need to decide what they want to do, and they should not be letting off the gas here, because if they do give time for Abyssal to reset and think about things, they might have problems.
Yeah, it was definitely weird, because if you just go ahead and look at Abyssal's comp, it does scale overall quite well though. But Sweet Dark Melody, it's like he's been going in and taking these engages very aggressively when he knows that he's not necessarily at the state to be able to do so here. It's the same with Solius as well. Because we were saying before, and we haven't seen the entire game, mini Castron. Abyssal Galaxy have their latest are playing like they are ahead. Like, the take it engages in fights when they simply just do not have the damage, and putting themselves in very precarious positions that they do not need to be in at all. As a Dark Melody, like get aggressive against Crusader. What? There's no need to be, mate. Just go ahead, pick up the farm, and scale up.
And he is going that Manamune Urgot build, which is starting to pick up some popularity. But the issue is that it takes time to scale here. You don't want to fight when it's not quite ready. He's only about halfway stacked. I granted earlier on Urgot was stronger than Maokai, but right now you're not. So you need to take a bit of a step back. And that's one thing about Sweet Dark Melody we kind of didn't talk about as a player, but he's a very sort of hit or miss player, and he might miss you.
Yes, Gaming Kitten is just pretty much dead though. That's really unfortunate overall. Did have the Zanya's did have the stopwatch up though as Sweet Dark Melody, man. You saw the fight was not going your way. Maokai has Sunfire, like Spectre's Cowl and the Bramble where you barely have a half-built Manamune. And he's just dead for it. That's just really unfortunate.
Yeah, and right now, while there are ways, it's hard for Abyssal to get back. But it's possible. The issue right now, though, is the way they are playing. It's highly unlikely, and we do see.
Mistley goes in, knocks the Patrick the Wish out. Ooh, but so much time is almost a million on the side of Abyssal Galaxy. All the lanes going down, but Thanos top goes and gets on to the jungler here. No more darkness for you. He said you go ahead and see the light as Eldra gonna be engaged on as well. The back there flying ninja goes in onto Gaming Kitten, but at what cost, my friend? The Kaisa is strong, and apparently the Morgana is stronger. As that'll be all they have. Gaming Kitten going into trying to find a binding. Will not lock them up. Forces the flash out of Pachatory. And the snipe from downtown for that Kaisa. That was nice.
Thanos has been doing that all series so far with those snipes everywhere, picking up kills left and right. He's 5-1 right now. The only really strong point on the team, Mistley 3-1 and 4 is doing well, but I wouldn't call it necessarily a strong point yet. And that fight started so poorly. The onslaught of shadows actually missed from Misty. He didn't hit the targets, but the devastating charge worked. And Thania just diving in with the paranoia way too deep. Same with Flying Ninja. You're ahead, yes, but you're not that far ahead. When I just said Abyssal Galaxy can still come back into the game. It's unlikely, but looking like DDB wants to prove me wrong and try and give them a way back in.
Yeah, pretty easily. If DDB go ahead and keep taking these type of fights, that's pretty much just free reign for Abyssal Galaxy to go ahead, scale up, and like you were saying, Minicaster, like get back into this game, get a bit more space, get more time, because now since they won that fight, they've given time for the laners to go ahead, get in much more even states, reset a little bit more, get a couple of these items, because Echo has the last chapter probably going ahead building towards that Ludens too, because once he has the Ludens and also along with the Proto Belt as well. He will put out a fair amount of damage to be able to get in, but
well, yep, there you go.
Just popped by a Flying Ninja here. Like now you see him, now you don't, Minicaster.
Yeah, I mean that Ludens Morello's coming through for a Flying Ninja right there. Like you said, it's a magic trick. Now you see him, now you don't. That's why she's the illusionist. And I think this has been an issue for Solius all game. He's 0-6 and 5 here, just keeps getting caught out, and now they do have to be careful.
Oh, Flying Ninja though, pops him at pop, still going on to the right one. Paranoia going immediately after Gaming Kitten though, and that's a shutdown actually coming in from the Thani onto Thanos top. That's 3 dead on the other sides, and they took a really bad trade that they could not fight at all. Like Mistley, that was really unfortunate, and now that Thanos' top is dead, this is soul for DDB.
And it was uncontested soul. I was actually thinking about 30 seconds ago, we should probably start talking about the soul. Well, it doesn't matter because they picked a really weird fight before it happened on the side of Abyssal Galaxy. So that's a free soul. They could even rotate over to start doing the Baron dance here if they want to, because they have the stronger team. They win any fight they pick right now. I mean, Flying Ninja with the Ludens, with the Morellos, and sitting on 1,000 gold as well, can go back to base. 5 stacks on that Dark Seal. Pachatory with the Blade of the Ruin King and the Runans as well is going to be very effective in these fights. And you look over, who's going to match them on the side of Abyssal Galaxy? Sweet Dark Melody still hasn't completed the Manamune stacking. It's not even a mirror mana yet. He is 571 stacks, getting there, but still not there. What else does he have? An Executioner's Calling, a Black Cleaver? Not ideal. The Proto Belt now coming through, the Luden's Echo now coming through along with the Proto Belt. For Solus, he's got some damage, but he's not surviving any of these fights. And for Thanos top 2, still, Manamune not completed. is actually even further behind. Only 490. Does have the Guinsus though, so does have some damage, but they're not ready for a fight. But Baron is on the table, so they're in a really bad spot right now, and DDB could just force this to a close here.
Plus, Thanos top 2 also has the call as well right now. At this point of the game, just to go ahead and get a bit of extra gold for himself. As you see, Crusader just he's just farming Mistley's jungle, and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it's just the way it's going to be for now, right? They're behind, and they need to start grouping up and getting that sort of 4 or 5 man gank train going here. And they need to keep in mind also that they always have to +1 as long as they don't see Thani, because that's what happened when they went for Flying Ninja. It looked so good. They were going to get Flying Ninja, and then the lights turn off, and suddenly they're fighting 3-4 people because they couldn't see them and because paranoia kicked in. So we now see vision being cleared up around Baron. I do expect to see DDB start making plays around there. But for now, it looks like they're still fighting the side lanes.
Yeah, Crusader goes in the paranoid pot as well, immediately going on to Solius though. He's taking so much damage. Can you pop his ultimate? And he's dead, but so is Nocturne though. So nice try to kill back and forth. But like Gaming Kitten and also Thanos top just not far ahead of to be able to take that fight. Pachituri and Flying Ninja so strong.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting. And here's the thing about Inferno Soul here. Inferno Soul actually basically does about as much damage as a Luden's Echo. So you give a Luden's Echo on top of a Luden's Echo to Flying Ninja, and that's what happens. You just get absolutely popped. They don't need Baron when they can just kill everybody on the team. And now they're pushing up bot lane. Sweet Dark Melody finally deciding to join the party here, but it's too little too late. Solius and, well, everybody who's dead is going to be coming back up. So they will back off. Baron, again, I'm going to keep harping on this, is on the table, and I hope that they start looking at it soon, because why not? It'll help you close out the game.
Like, it most definitely will here. So right now, if you are Abyssal Galaxy, you need this Baron to go ahead and just delay the game that little bit more. And you also need to go ahead and try to fight for Elder if possible as well. So they go ahead and get the Baron and probably not the fight though. Like, it should be fine, because even the fight, Thanos top needs to stay alive. He actually has to stay alive. Like it's like it's so crucial because he's right on most of the damage, and Solis as well just doesn't have the damage to be able to go onto the backline of DDB and pop really anybody at all.
Yeah, and now that Thanos top is actually showing bot lane, you have a free Baron. There's no way Thanos top gets there. He's not one of the people carrying teleport, but instead we're seeing DB just kind of wandering around, and I think they're extending the game. I don't think they'll lose it still. In terms of skilling here, they do have the Soraka, Ashe, both skill really well. LeBlanc does fall off. Pantheon, sorry, not Pantheon. Nocturne also does fall off, so that is something that they have to be mindful. But they should still be fine here. And they finally do clear the vision out here. Are they going to finally start it?
I mean, maybe so. As I want to point out yet again, you're missing.
Hey, there we go.
Taking a bad fight yet again onto Crusader, because Mistley, like, why are you bot, mate? Like, the Baron is up and he's firing to the top laner up onto the bot. So trying to kill Crusader, that probably won't even happen, as that is a free Baron pretty much for DDB, and they have completely taken over the game. It is now just a matter of time before the end.
Yeah, free easy Baron, free easy game here. They're up about 5,000 gold, but it feels so much more because it's 21-11 with Inferno, with Baron as well. And one thing I actually wanted to point out there was Mistley blew all his mana, 60% of his health, to do everything he could to Crusader, and Crusader had a completely full health bar. He took next to no damage by the time his passive was done healing him. That is a horrific sign for Abyssal Galaxy if no one can cut down this massive tree. The only person with Executioner's Calling right now, or Grievous Wounds, is Sweet Dark Melody. So if Sweet Dark Melody is not there, Crusader will never die.
Yeah, likely will not, as we're seeing it so far. It's like this is looking so clean in general. And I gotta wonder here, how does Abyssal Galaxy get back into this game?
Not like this.
Yeah, Mistley just goes in for a little bit of a botched engage, but Gaming Kitten's way too far forward, will likely go ahead and die. Paranoia out to the middle of 3, but will he be so lucky to go and get a kill, as Gaming Kitten will go and die as well? Solius dives in, uses the E, but and then Patch Story says, "Yippee, thanks for the kill, mate." Because with him being dead, Gaming Kitten is so low, they can run up pretty much push to end here. They're all so strong, and the Abyssal Galaxy cannot take any fight.
And this is the do or die moment. This is the last base defense. They have to find something here or they lose the game because Baron's pushing in, Super Minions pushing in, and they're just taking everything they want. I don't think they got this.
Now, as we see Misty go in with the spell shields, will try to survive, as Crusader just fires Crusader Melody back and forth underneath the turret, and like he's still not winning here, unfortunately, because look how ahead Crusader is off on this Urgot. As meanwhile, their base being torn apart one by one. If Abyssal Galaxy wanted to go in, now had to be the time. They have to do something, anything at all, as the base falls apart. God doesn't even die at all, though. That is every Nexus turret taken out, almost, except one. Sorry.
Yeah, and it looks like they're splitting here.
Yeah, Mistily though a bit too far in. Thanos top through, as well around the back side, because we see that on bottom, like DDB have said, forget the base, they won't take it anyway. Let's go ahead and take Baron, but because they don't even need the whole team to fight them. Because like Gaming Kitten is dead. This is insane. How ahead Abyssal Galaxy is. They're taking 3v4 fights, 3v5 fights. That's it. That's the game here, Minicaster.
Yeah, that's I mean, somewhat to be expected. They could have closed out a lot earlier. That they actually sent people to try and get the Elder Drake. That was just straight styling at the end from DDB, and it's good to see them be able to rebound like that from what was an extremely one-sided game one. But now I'm very concerned for Abyssal Galaxy because they chose to double down in game two on straight laning, and it did not work well for them. And if we look at the damage charts here, first of all, Fly Ninja is disgusting. He almost doubled the next closest person on the highest damage on the enemy team, which was Sweet Dark Melody there on that Urgot. That's absolutely disgusting there. And what's even more disgusting is Maokai here, Crusader on the tank, did more damage than almost everybody on the enemy team.
Like, it's from the jump, the Abyssal Galaxy drafted a solo lane composition, but the lanes just were not there from the beginning. DDB took hold of the reins and he did not let go. But what that means, your animating casters, that we're going to game number 3 here. We have ourselves a series on our hands. So what will it be? Will Abyssal Galaxy will go ahead, will through solo lanes, or will DDB continue and take this energy forward? Find out after the small break. And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the game for all the marbles, all the cupcakes, everything you've ever wanted. Love and affection. This is it, the final game in the best three series for Abyssal Galaxy versus Dirty Diet Brigade here. After a phenomenal game number two, DDB just kind of just steamrolled over Abyssal Galaxy, but we'll see who goes ahead and takes this game as we're into picks and bans.
Yeah, and both these teams right now have shown that they know how to play when they are ahead. But the question is, who's going to get a hit if that's all they know how to play? And we are seeing some substitutions here on the side of Abyssal Galaxy. It's looking like Thanos top is going to go back into the jungle, and they've got a different. Oh, sorry, he's been in the jungle. It's going to be a different ADC, pardon me. Feel the Vern coming in for ADC here. So again, changes in the bans coming out. TDB, I'm expecting to see the same bans because Solius is still in the game. So Akali, Yone, and Yasuo is my guess. It worked last game. Why not keep it? Abyssal Galaxy going to stick with the set Caitlyn. So they obviously don't feel like the Ashe was an issue here for Patrick Murray.
Yeah, honestly, it really was not at all. Though, as the Ashe was actually pretty good in lane, but the Kai'Sa matchup is really, I find, what really left them behind though, because like just was not able to lane quite well into it. Kai'Sa does take quite some time, but to go ahead and get rolling, as they take the Morgana here. B1 though, so decided that they want to go ahead and let's keep the support.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, the Morgana did pretty decently in lane. The Dark Bindings weren't as influential as we might have hoped, but it's a very safe pick here. Does provide a lot of utility with that Black Shield and the catch potential with the Dark Binding. So I think it's a perfectly safe blind pick here for the side of Abyssal Galaxy. And the question is what they'll want to pair that with, because Feel the Vern, I don't know much about this guy. He's just coming in E-sub. We'll have to see. And the Thresh Maokai coming in for DDB. So they felt like the Maokai was great. They want it again, but Thresh is a bit of a new face here.
Yeah, Thresh definitely is here. Thresh, this is the first time that Thresh has actually been picked almost in this entire series. I can go to the bot lane here for El Dragon. So pretty interesting so far. He's mainly played mainly the spellcaster type, mainly plays spellcaster type supports though. But one thing which does go ahead and get through is that Cassiopeia for Solius. Now Solius is known for very much like his K type junglers, and game number one though, the Cassio was went ahead and banned, so they went ahead, so they actually go ahead and pick it too, and the Graves as well gets picked.
Yeah, so that tells me that they're looking at Solius to look for skilling, and I think there's a much better decision than what they kind of ran into game two, where they kind of doubled down on the assassins. Obviously, the assassin didn't work, so now they're going for a safer skilling pick. I like it. The Ezreal Ezreal pick, potentially coming up from Dirty Diet Brigade. Interesting choice. Ezreal actually has seen a huge drop in his win rate globally here since sort of the early game meta being pushed. So questionable, but I think it's a fairly okay decision, especially with the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia needs a bit of time to scale. So does Ezreal. So their power spikes are roughly going to be around the same time here.
Like definitely so here what we're seeing, but one thing we have not seen yet is the ADC pick coming out of Abyssal Galaxy. They know they'll go ahead into the Ezreal pick as well, which I'm really interested as well. But also more than that, what will DDB pick into the mid lane to go up against this Cassio? It's like, because you do not want to like let yourself be just caught out, because we've seen how much Solius just takes over the game. And on the side of Ezreal, I think he's an overall like pretty safe pick in general. Like if you're looking to just go ahead, farm in lane, land a couple of Qs and E's here and there, and really wait for the 2 item power spec to really be relevant. Which can take time though, but it all depends on the ADC pick from Abyssal Galaxy to see if they're able to win.
Yeah, and if this had been game one or game two, I'd have said that Ezreal pick is suicidal, because both teams played such high tempo here in games one and game two. But it looks like game three might actually be a much slower tempo games. If both sides are picking scaling champions, then well, we might not see quite the scaling. And the LeBlanc ban coming out, so they don't want to have to handle Flying Ninja's LeBlanc. They don't feel like Cassiopeia is going to be able to handle it either. I'm actually a little bit surprised. If they're going to ban it now, why did they pick Cassio so early? Because it could have been counterpicked potentially, but either way, that's fine. The Xayah Ben coming out from Dirty Dive Brigade as well. But there's just so many ADC options, and it's going to be the Elise jungle for Dirty Dive Brigade. Interesting. Very early game focus here.
Very, very early game focus too, and plus with the AP power coming out as well to go ahead and round out the comp a little bit more though. I don't know about you, Minicaster. I haven't seen the release in quite some time. Like it's so I'm really interested. So if Elise can actually go ahead, go for the early game games with this setup from the cocoons and the spiders, and what kind of impact she actually has in this game for DDB, as it will be the Ash pick. It looks like coming in for Abyssal Galaxy. So pretty standard ADC picks for AG. They've and I found that the Ash has actually traded hands kind of back and forth between game 2 and game 3
Oh,
here.
so it looks like the Ash is not Ash. It's actually a Zoe,
Zoe, yeah, sorry.
which makes. Oh, okay. I see what they did. So it looks like their Isa Peel the Burn might actually be an AP carry player. So that's probably going to be a Morgana casting player bot lane, and Zoe in the mid lane.
Huh. Okay. This is absolutely fascinating. Cat. So, okay, AP skill in mid lane, allowing the Morgana, so a lot of power potential there, especially if you go ahead and land a binding, which is really the key part, though. So, but Ezreal can also pretty much keep it safe quite well. But, for, but to, but the problem is too is that if Ezreal gets grounded, so he's just kind of stuck there, and early on he's just so extremely squishy. If he does go ahead and get caught, and it will be the final pick of the Fizz
Zed.
comment.
They messed up. It's a Zed.
Okay, so and it
Lots
will
of
be the
mistakes from
Zed.
them today.
Finally, no, it is what it is here. It's like so now I just look a little bit frazzled, which is fine. But it will be the Zed coming in for the mid lane pick, up against the Ash.
The Zoe.
Oh, right. Yes,
Yeah, it's the
I'm
weirdest.
trying to remember
like,
everything that's happening here. Like it's like there's so many different. So Zoe mid, Nasus top, which is another like Nasus is literally scale. So this is literally all they're hoping for. So Abyssal Galaxy wants you to just sit back and farm. They don't want to get engaged on. They don't want you to do anything. Just let them farm. Honestly.
Yeah, and Abyssal Galaxy has gone a complete 180 here. Game 2, all about the early game, all about the laning. Game 3, welcome to the late game here. Cassiopeia, Nasus, both of them really wanted to go late. And that means Abyssal Galaxy is kind of giving up their top side of the map here. They're relying on their jungler, Thanos top, to try and hold on and carry the top side on that Graves early pick. And normally I think that'd be perfectly fine. But you look over to DDB and they've got themselves the Elise. And Elise is sort of the prototypical early jungler. You asked me before, you said that you haven't seen one in a while, and have I seen one? Yes, I actually have seen one. And the problem is Elise is hella scary early. Her cocoons, her execute damage, if she has any damage coming out of a lane there, it's so easy to just set up a CC and just follow up. She's almost like Nidoey, except even more early game focus. She actually brings more damage to the table than Nidoey early, but slower clears and worse scaling. So if the Elise catches Graves in the jungle, Graves might be in for a rough time. And with sort of the Zed mid lane as well, they've got damage in spades anywhere from the mid lane. The bot and top, though, is a little weaker for Dirty Dive Brigade. Maokai's got damage, so great. You can set up Elise. He can maybe poke down and get ready for that. Bot side's probably going to be a bit of a wash here. Thresh Ezreal, not the strongest of sort of bot lane. So it's going to be very interesting. And I'm not really sure what to make of these compositions because neither of them are looking to team fight. It looks like just picks from both sides is going to be the name of the game here.
Picks definitely is definitely the name of the game. Like it is absolutely massive as we're just waiting on the side, you know, for Abyssal Galaxy junglers to be able to go in and get onto the game as well. Looks like he's having a bit of connectivity issues. So let's go ahead and continue to break down the comps here so far here in a minicaster. What are you seeing? So with the Abyssal Galaxy's comp, we know they definitely want to go ahead and sit back and scale the late game. But DDB does not want to do that. Like especially with the Zed pick too. I think that's probably the most interesting pick for me overall, especially since this is going into like honestly, like especially since this is going into the Zoe. Like Zoe is a really fun and interactive champ to play against, in my opinion. Like you know how you like are able to just play the game and then she makes sure that you can't, and you know how you only get 2 summoners in a game and Zoe's like a bit, hey but what if I got more? Like it's great. Like it's so much fun overall though. But I would say the Zoe pick is very much a toss-up. So I'm very interested in that matchup and really how that plays overall.
Yeah, and obviously on the side of BDD here, they feel like Zed is a counter pick. into Zoe because they knew Zoe came out, and Zoe's a fairly safe sort of blind pickable champion for the most part. So they're thinking that, or they feel confident that they can easily handle Zoe. And to be fair, Zed is generally considered a counter to Zoe because he can match her mobility. His ultimate allows him, the death mark just lets him put so much damage that he can burst the Zoe regardless where she tries to run off to. So that's good, but on the other hand, he has to dodge a lot of that poke. Like you said, Zoe, a very interactive champion in that if she interacts with you, you're probably going to die. Because if that Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands, that Paddle Star is sure to follow, and you can really burst down people that way. So mid lane going to be volatile. I do think DDB probably has it, and more importantly, the jungle mid synergy there. The Graves Zoe worries me a lot less than the Elise Zed combination. I feel like Elise Zed, if they show up, somebody's dead. If the CC lands, you're guaranteed to die. So I think there's a lot of action going to be happening there. Top side, Maokai versus Nasus. Well, that's going to be a farm fest here. And bot lane, Ezreal Thresh versus Morgana Cassiopeia. I think that could become interesting, but like you said, a lot of it will rely on Gaming Kitten landing those Dark Bindings there with the Morgana. If the Dark Bindings don't land, it's going to be another non-interactive lane.
So what I'm also thinking about too as well is if we're looking at it, can Maokai actually stop the Nasus from farming? Right? That's a real question, because what you want to do to go and play against Nasus is like, just poke him out of lane, make sure he can't do anything anytime he gets close though. But Maokai himself, he can put out a fair amount of damage once he actually goes and gets 1 or 2 items for himself. Or even if he goes ahead, gets the Bramble, along with the Balmy Cinder, he should be able to trade evenly too, along with this Q being level 4 to 5, puts out a good amount of spell damage. But the question is early on though, for Nasus, that's a pretty free lane to go ahead and farm in. And once Nasus is able to get up to 1 to 200 stacks, he should be able to just smack Maokai down.
Yeah, and so Maokai has to try and stop the Nasus, but I don't think he can. So a lot of it's going to come down to jungle pressure or even mid lane pressure. We saw how much roaming Flying Ninja did in game 2 there on the LeBlanc. Well, he can do the same thing on Zed as well. So I do think the DDB needs to spend special attention on Nasus in the top lane to make sure he doesn't sort of snowball out of control there. And like you said, once he gets a couple of levels, a couple of items under his belt, Crusader isn't going to be able to do much against him, right? Nasus has his own lifesteal, has his own sustain, does a ton of damage, well-built tanky as well. So it's a bit of a ticking time bomb in the top lane there, coming from Abyssal Galaxy's draft. And I really like that they waited till the last second to pick him there, because they made sure that they couldn't do anything, right? They looked at it and decided, okay, it's safe enough. We're confident against the Maokai. We think we can handle the Elise. We're going to pick the Nasus now.
Yeah, exactly that being so here. Now, with that though, we're gonna go ahead and take a small little break as we get everybody all connected and everything. So we'll see you in just a minute. You do not want to go anywhere. This is game number 3. This should be absolutely hype.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere, I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous, but it's so fun. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous, but it's so fun. Run, run, run. Dangerous, dangerous.
Welcome back again, everybody. We're back after a short little break, after a couple of DC switches here and there, back and forth, yada yada. We are back into it with almost a brand new draft here. So, I know you enjoyed all those conversations before about the draft, but now we about to do it all over again here, Meeting Caster.
Yeah, so apparently they think we like drafts, so they're giving us yet another one. We're having some more substitutions here. The jungler's been substituted out. The AD's been substituted out here for Abyssal Galaxy, so huge changes. I don't know what to expect anymore from Abyssal Galaxy, because honestly, like, they're 180 into Game 3. I don't know if they're going to continue with that super sort of skilling composition, but so far the bans look like it's going the same way. I'm expecting the Caitlyn ban once again from Abyssal. Oh, never mind. They switched it up. Okay, this is exciting. LeBlanc ban instead. I like it. They're banning Flying Ninja. Akali, Yone, Yasuo most likely coming out, and we'll have to see what happens with the picks now. And I have no clue because too many changes.
Like almost a minute, so it's anything could be a toss up here. Based upon the draft that we saw before, they're throwing curveballs here, left and right, and up and down. If this was a boxing match, here, Randomly Caster, they would have both been Mike Tyson. As the Caitlyn gets through, finally after 3 different games here, Abyssal Galaxy get the Kate. Now, hopefully, they should win that bot lane, as is matched by the Morgana on the other side, as is expected.
Yeah, and I actually really like the adaptation here from the side of Abyssal Gaming, because they've been the ones to have to ban out Caitlyn every game, and she's currently the queen, the undisputed queen of ADC. So now that they've changed up their ADC, it's Angelic Poro coming in for ADC. They can finally play that Caitlyn here, which was open because DDB had to ban the Akali, Yasuo, and Yone. And now Morgana, Jinx, good combination. It denies the Morgana, it gets them the Jinx. They've got that super long range to try and match Caitlyn. Some people consider Jinx a bit of an equal match or a bit of a counter to Caitlyn. I like it. And the Karma instantly coming out, because Karma can punish Morgana, one of the few bot lane supports who can.
Like, plus especially too, now Karma used to be able to punish Morgana a lot more. I find, especially before, when she didn't have, especially when her Q was on like a half-second cooldown. But now, since they have nerfed her very early on, though her laning phase isn't as strong, so she has to go ahead and use her Qs a lot more selectively, though. But with this, though, Maokai just coming as well as the top laner, so they're going ahead and denying that from DDB as well. A safe top lane pick, good amount of CC, and scales well into a really solid tank, as it will be the Gnar. Man, oh, Meaning Caster, I love Gnar.
Well, we're not seeing the super late scaling drafts from both teams. And one thing to note is Abyssal Gaming actually stealing away the Maokai here from DDB. In Game 2, it was DDB who played it. In Game, what shall we call it? The fake Game 3 or Game 2.5? It was DDB who drafted the Maokai again. We'll call it 2.5. So this time it's Abyssal stealing that away this time. And I'm a little concerned because Sweet Dark Melody's been playing carries for most of the series, right? And every time he's performed well, it's been on carries, not on tank. So I don't know how he's going to look like on this tank here, especially going into an hour. And we are seeing now that Zed ban come out. They knew that that's what DDB sort of had as an answer to Zoe, but Zoe's banned as well. And a Mumu ban coming out for Field of Vern. They're going to ban Nocturne as well. Did not enjoy the paranoia that was coming out back in game 2. And so lots of jungle and mid attention here.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have either, man, because, like, in both the real life and in the game, mini caster, I'm scared of the dark. So every time Nocturne presses arm, like, who turned out the lights? I cannot handle this. Stop it. I'm not all for it. This could be a really interesting pick, is DDB. Still wanted to go ahead and go for a bit more of the early power, but don't opt in for the least this time. And they get the Rek'Sai into it.
Okay, now Rek'Sai I have actually not seen in quite a while.
Okay, all
I've
right.
not casted in quite a while here. So interesting. And the Olaf coming up from Abyssal. So Abyssal looking like a completely different team here with their substitution.
Like, this is really interesting too, because they pretty much had to, like both DDB and Abyssal have opted to change up their bans and their picks too, considering the draft previously. So it's like they both are kind of in each other heads, as this is the Ahri going into the middle. It's the blind RE2, so that means DDB will go ahead and get the counter pick, and it'll go into the Azir. Oh no! Oh, okay. I was about to say it was the Vega. That'd be so much fun.
And it might still be. They're still hovering it. And you know what? Actually, I'm just super excited for Ahri because this is patch 10.18, and she just got changed this patch. Her heal, her spell vamp got shifted into her passive rather than her Q. And her movement speed buff got put onto her W instead. So she's more mobile, but does slightly less damage. So very excited to see her. I've heard some things about her being used as sort of kiting around team fights rather than just sort of as a pick assassin. So I'm very excited to see that. And they actually did lock in the Vygar. So you're excited. I'm excited. This is going to be a good game.
Oh, this is going to be absolutely great. Now, Vygar, just an infinitely skilling little nugget in the mid lane here. And honestly, he should do pretty good against this Ahri. Like I don't see a world where like Vygar just gets to see picked off. And plus, now DDB have actually a fair amount of setup here with both the Event Horizon and maybe even the Gnar coming into it, or Jix being able to slow somebody down to find a pick, or the Morgana binding as well. So it's like such a solidly pick based composition coming out of DDB, and a lot of their picks scale really well.
Yeah, and the other thing about DDB's composition as well is that they've got a Jinx, and generally Jinx is actually a huge pump for compositions who can't reach the back line. So now Ahri's gonna have to keep diving in each and every time to try and find Jinx. But the problem is, this is new Ahri. Even if she does find the Jinx, I'm not confident that new Ahri can 100 to 0 her, which means that if you can't 100 to 0 that Jinx, well, there's going to be a Black Shield, there's going to be an Event Horizon, there's going to be a lot of things being thrown your way to try and keep you off the Jinx. Olaf as well, he's going to have to try and run right through into the backline, into the Jinx. And if they can't do that, then DDB is going to be able to just take over these late game fights with, as you said, the infinitely scaling Vygar, that Jinx as well. And you look over at Abyssal Galaxy, they don't have as much late game insurance. They've got a Caitlyn, and she scales great and amazingly, sure, but she's about the only one on that team. Ahri doesn't scale great, Olaf doesn't scale great, and Karma doesn't scale great either. So Abyssal Galaxy, from 2.5, where they were the ones going for the super late game with the Cassiopeia and the Nasus, well, they've gone back to sort of a early to mid game. They are on a timer. They need to close this game out.
That's the question: can they go ahead and do so, though? Can they go ahead and win their lanes and ultimately win this game? And DDB looking to go ahead and do the same. But if I go ahead and look at the Abyssal Galaxy, right? Like, look at the composition here. Like you were saying, Olaf and Ahri pretty much, and Maokai a little bit as well. They want to run into DDB. They want to go ahead and find a pick, get onto Case, get onto anybody at all. But the question is, will they be able to do so? Because even with the Rek'Sai was slow, the Gnar was slow too, and most importantly, just the Event Horizon. That can be a game-changing tool coming out of the Vega when used right and when used properly too. I find it's like can go ahead and stave out so much to engage from AG that they can't even get onto any of the carries of DDB. So right now, if I'm looking at the composition, I'm liking DDB's slightly more.
Agreed. I think DDB has a better composition. Their picks work together better. But if we look at the isolated lane matchup, which has been sort of what came down to a little bit in games 1 and 2, things are quite a little different here. Gnar should have a favorable matchup to Maokai. I haven't seen Rek'Sai in a while, especially not against an Olaf, so not quite sure how that one goes. But mid lane, Flying Ninja on the Vigar is going to find himself potentially very exposed here as the most easily gank lane. He has an Event Horizon, but Olaf has a Ragnarok. Ari has her Spirit Rushes. She can sort of kite around the Event Horizon. As long as she doesn't get put inside the cage, she'll be perfectly fine. So I think Flying Ninja will have to show off how well he can position here, because we've seen how well he plays a mobile champion like LeBlanc. Now he's got to show us how well he plays the direct opposite, and E-Mobile, basically a random minion in the mid lane there, whether or not he can survive that.
Yeah, most definitely is. Now, with that all being said, this is the final game in this best of 3. Now, who will take it? Who will it be? Find out in just a couple of minutes, in maybe about 3. We'll see you back here on Risen. Game numero tres. Now count that with me here, not a mini caster. Uno, dos, tres.
Tres.
So in this best of three series, this means that this game means everything. After a long wait, after 10,000 drafts, and after 14 million, 14 million back and forths here within these subs, these teams already get into as you're seeing an invade already.
Oh yeah, they need to
though,
repay us with action.
Oh, as Poro has to flash out immediately as well, but no flash blow on the side of DDB just yet. As Worth.
I mean, that's great that they blew the flash. Interestingly enough, El Dragon actually running the exhaust instead of the ignite here, so lesser kill potential, more defensive, and Crusader and Sweet Dark Melody. What?
They just walk past each other. They were like, oh, like, hey, like, top the morning to you and to you, sir. They're like, wait, what? Like,
That's the wrong skin. Where's the gentleman now? If you're gonna do that, at least run the gentleman now. I mean, well, so a bit of an interesting start. I hesitate to say exciting since nobody really died and two people just walked past each other. So it looks like we'll just be getting sort of more standard lanes here. And I was the point I wanted to make with Morgana, just that they're running a more defensive start, and they are going to actually pick the leash as well on that bot side here for both teams. It looks like so. I don't think anybody right now on the opposing teams know where the junglers are. So that should be interesting, at least to see where their first ganks or how their first ganks end up.
Yeah, like fasting overall though, as I would expect Rek'Sai to try to take advantage of like Poro's flash being down. Like I would hope so, because Caitlyn can be so oppressive in lane, especially with this Arma, especially with this Karma Morgana, like a Karma v Morgana matchup too of the Caitlyn as well. It's like she can output so much damage, and poking Jinx early on is not amazing in general. Like so, it's like punishing the Caitlyn should be huge.
Yeah, and a lot of sort of the reason why people sometimes play Jinx into Caitlyn, think it's a bit of like a good matchup, is because Jinx can match the range of Caitlyn. And while Karma does sort of generally beat Morgana, we could put the binding into traps is definitely very painful. But we're seeing an early gank come in here.
I did want to see the early gank, but not necessarily out of the Olaf though. But still, he's all the way in. As Crusader finds Sweet Dark Melody up on the back side, it's going to use the Q to back him up though, but just pressing him yet again. As mid-side of Fly Ninja just chops up the Artie, but no kills will be had.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, we're kind of early in the game. I don't think there is a ton of kill potential right now, especially for Field of Vern. Trying to gank that bot lane without, or trying to gank really any lane without Ragnarok here is not going to be easy. There's so much CC, and you saw what happened. He just runs in, Dark Binding to the face, and that's going to happen every single time he tries to gank that bot lane. And now the Thani trying to be sneaky here. He's made his way into the furthest bush.
As he goes and pops the Q, the immediate flash out from Gaming Kitten as well. As he can't get anything but, flash out El Dragon, though, the Thani on the wrong side has the double up, but it doesn't necessarily matter as First Blood going over to the side of AG.
Answered immediately in the top lane by Crusader there. It's just a matter of seconds. It really could have gone either way. And I mean, let's start with that bottom side gank. So first of all, the Thani's gank was kind of good, but perhaps he should have backed off the moment the Dark Binding didn't land there, because trying to force that was bad, and Field of Vern was just waiting there. The Thani saw him with the Tremor Sense, so he knew that a third person was coming, just opted to ignore it there. Very, very unfortunate. And topside, Crusader and Sweet Dark Melody, that's what we expect. Crusader will probably continue to dominate that topside on that Gnar into the Maokai until Maokai can get some armor under his belt there.
That pretty easily so, opting probably for the Bramble and also the Bomby Cinder. Those are the two most econ efficient early game tank items you can go ahead and get to not only go ahead and give you pretty good stats overall in this lane, but also solid sustain and a bit of damage. So if you are to take jungler getting a Preston lane, those two items are your go-to, only 1900 gold.
Yeah, so really, really solid pickups when he buys them, but that's a ways from now. And one thing I forgot to mention actually in the bot lane was that First Blood going to Angelic Portal was bad enough. The other issue was that he killed the jungler, and he's now wearing the double buffs. So he's just pushing Pachatory around, and Pachatory has to just stand there and take it right now. There's not a lot he can do to counter, and with this, we might see a kill come out.
As you see, Angelic Portal immediately exhausted out the El Dragon a bit too close. One more crit, doesn't even need it as the Piltover taken, but Mirta the Solius though in the middle of the Veigar stun, knocked up, W down, but will not be able to secure the kill though as Field of Burn is here.
Yeah, and that will automatically force the back from Solius. If Solius sticks around, he's risking death here because once Flying Ninja hits 6, that Primordial Burst will basically insta-give him. He's kind of low on health. It is an execute, and we can see Solius is actually going to be greedy. And we've seen this happen before. Solius, you don't want to be greedy.
No, man, it's happened before. It happened again. No, man, it's so far forward. And Van Rice has strong ability, but the Thandi goes for the return gank up at the bot side. But he's already a quarter of his health before even going in, and going yet again onto the wrong side. Olaf is there, gets the knockup, and he will die.
Okay, at this point, I'm personally not super familiar with the Rek'Sai in the current meta. I've not seen her in the current meta too much. But at this point, I'm pretty sure Burrow just means that you can't see very far away from yourself, but you can still see Tremor Sense, right? Because the Thania right now seems to be blind to his allies' health bars as well as the Tremor Sense. He's going in when he's low on health, Pachatory is low on health, and Field of Burn was on his way in.
Oh, as like the flash in from Angelic Pour used aggressively, gets the net and the kill as well onto Pachatory. It's like, it's right now, it's so back and forth here for both of these laners. Because if you go ahead, look on the jungle and the bot side, Angelic and Field of Vern doing amazingly. But mid side though, they're Flying Ninja Crusader killing it.
Yeah, and I think a little bit more back than forth here for TDP, especially in that bot lane there. Caitlyn already super scary in the current meta because of that long range, because of the crit, and because the damage she can put out. Well, imagine a Caitlyn now 3-0-1, because that's what Poro is sitting on right now. He's coming back to lane here with the BF Sword and a pickaxe. Normally at this point in the game, 7 minutes in, you come back to lane, it's a BF Sword, maybe a pair of boots. But with 3 kills under your belt, you can pick up a pickaxe too. And suddenly, you thought it was a process before, it's only going to get worse. And it's good steal away from Field of Burn. He wins the trade. The Thani's Rek'Sai really not working out this game 3.
Not at all, though, as Dark Melody goes and uses W, gets the heal, kites him back, but oh my god, so go the flash, and that should be another dead Maokai, another solo kill for Crusader up on the top side. But exactly as you were saying here, random minion caster, they're really getting oppressed in lane. Purgatory, those crits are chonking him.
And that Black Shield does not protect you from auto attacks. So while it looks like there was a lot of health there, a lot of that was purple health, which did not matter whatsoever. Pachatory already pushed down to about half health here. Not going well at all for him. And Pachatory, like I said back in game 2, he is sort of the carry for his team, and he's sort of an index for his team. If he's doing well, DDB has a chance to win. If he's not doing well, there's pretty much no chance for them to win. That being said, they are trying to play through their lane.
Ooh, if that top line of the Flying Ninja though, but it doesn't matter as he was the wrong side, as Solius finally gets one back, gets the solo kill. This is the Solius we know from game number 1.
Yeah, it looks like game 2 Solius has switched off, and game 1 Solius is starting to come back online. He's up in CS, got the 1 kill. Somewhat what you expect. Ari generally should have a favorable matchup because of her mobility, but that's just another nail here in DDB's coffin, early game coffin so far here, because Solius was one of their few Flying Ninja was one of their few winning lanes here. And now everything's gonna have to rely on Crusader because he's the only one right now doing well in CS and kills here.
Yeah, like him right now too is like he has to be kind of like the backbone of the team at this moment, because he's able to oppress his Micah quite heavily as he goes into his Rek'Sai as well. But nice stun coming out. Crusader Gnar out into the wall, and this right here is a dead Maokai. And it doesn't matter who it goes over to, and it looks like it will go over to Crusader.
As that he ulted.
Yeah, he wanted that kill, man. I don't know. He was hungry for that.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, the Thani's using that Void Rush there. I think that was massively overkill. Like you said, it kind of doesn't matter who it goes over to, but he's so low, there's no need to blow an ultimate. He does and doesn't even get the kill, and that's just absolutely brutal for him. While that was happening, Field of Burn did manage to pick up Shelly there. The Eye of the Herald now picked up, and it looks like he's dropping it bot lane. They're gonna go for first turret, and they didn't need it, so they might actually get the turret before Shelly arrives.
Yeah, they probably won't even need it. They're gonna go for a second turret. here, like Reanimated Caster. They're just gonna go ahead and escort him all the way into tier 2, but Flying Ninja is here though. The question is, can they kill him before it goes in? As El Dragon has probably the ultimate, but we see that right now this Olaf is unstoppable. Flash over Crusader in, gets the kill onto the Karma, and it is all going wrong here for DDB. Angelic Pro dead as well as Flying Ninja gets the shutdown, as Shelly will not get her charge.
And kudos, massive kudos here to DDB, recognizing what they needed to do. As soon as Shelly went down, all the rotations started. Crusader teleports down, Flying Ninja walks down. They managed to get themselves 3 kills to boot there, which is absolutely massive, as well as the Wind Drake, the Cloud Drake, pardon me. And that's good. Cloud Drake is going to be absolutely huge for Flying Ninja. That Primordial Burst already gets a fairly short cooldown by the time it's rank 3, but with another additional 10% on, it's going to do that much more work. And they were in a very, very deep hole in a deficit. Well, they're now only about 1,000 gold behind here. They have lost the bot side turret, but at least they're not falling too far behind at only 11 minutes.
Yeah, not too far behind at all. And I gotta say, that was absolutely massively crucial gank. Just like TP coming in from Crusader to just really go ahead and jump onto the back line. Considering how ahead he is right now, he has the Black Cleaver and the Tabbies as well. He's just so strong. He's able to just eliminate people, especially when he goes into like the big boy form as well. So look at that. He's able to easily kite out both the Caitlyn and the Karma and get free farm here up on the bot side.
And he's 2 levels up from them as well, being a solo laner. So he will have a decent sort of lane against the 2 people. Again, Mininar is ranged as well, so should be fine. And that's why we're seeing Angelic Poro and Gaming Kitten just leaving there. They know they're not going to get much instead. And meanwhile, they rotated Pachatory and El Dragon up to that top lane. I like that idea. That top lane turret is already low. And besides, Pachatory and El Dragon were not having a good time against Angelic Poro and Gaming Kitten. So you swap that up, you nullify a lot of the advantage.
Oh, Gaming Kitten, oh, so close to Flying Ninja. Barely misses the first Q and the second one as well. Primordial Burst, not able to just one-shot people just yet, though, but that was really close. Oh! As they make a death drop, it barely gets their kill. But the Thani is here. Can he get anything? I doubt it. As Crusader, looking to go to clear out the ward, but the Maokai cannot fight this.
No, it's already Sweet Dark Melody already lost that lane. It's not going to improve a lot. And he opted for the Spectre's Cow. We talked about Bami Cinder and Bramble Vest. Well, he got the Bami Cinder. He did not get the Bramble Vest.
Yeah, he wants to go and get a bit of the AP resistance, likely for Flying Ninja, though. But early on, he's like, you know what? I'm going to go for the lane, so I'm not going to see him again as top side patcher. Tori is battling up against this Ari. There should be a dead Jinx here, though. But Flash committed here from the Ari as well, along with Ignite, but backside the Thani yet again on the wrong side of the jungle, way too far forward, my friend, because you enter territory where you cannot play.
And the Thani's so hungry for kills here, but bot side.
Oh, Crusader has to flash out, barely dash to the tower, so that was really close here.
Yeah, that turret, Crusader getting a little antsy. He is ridiculously strong. The fact, I think he took what 2 or 3 turret shots there, and he still survived that. He's 2 levels up from Sweet Dark Melody right now. That's how strong he is. But again, he's the main strong point of the team. Top side, we did see Pachatory just get taken down by Solius, and suddenly his turret's the one getting taken down. The blue side outer turret in the top lane was down to 2 plates for the longest time, and Pachatory basically couldn't do anything more. His turret was full health, and now Solius has got it down to basically, 1 plate at this point. So the bot lane here for DDB is still not doing well. And like I said, as long as Pachatory isn't doing well, I struggle to have faith here in DDB.
Like, I definitely do here so far, though, like, but the question is, but the question will be, honestly, it is a Jinx, because there's that power space. Gaming King takes a bunch of damage already. Primordial Burst is up. I'm shocked he didn't use it. He probably could have killed her, honestly, as the Void Rush out immediately onto the Karma, but diving way too far yet again. But the Burst will definitely go ahead and get the Caitlyn. Ooh, nice binding onto the Karma, living for a little bit longer, though. But just look at the poke minion caster coming out of DDB.
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. And that Primordial Burst, he held it for Caitlyn.
Ooh, Nara out immediately onto the Ari, and she gets blown up, man. Now you see the Fox, now you don't.
What does the fox say? Apparently nothing, because she's dead and back in the fountain there. And just like this is, it's such a weird back and forth game happening here. Abyssal Galaxy should have had the stronger lanes, but somehow like the way they're playing, they've thrown away all their advantages. And Flying Ninja suddenly, he was previously, what was that, 0-1 and 0, I think, against Solius earlier. But suddenly he's now 4-1 and 3 in the span of about 5 minutes here. And Vigar is not someone you want to feed here. Forget about not feeding Gremlins after midnight. Don't feed Vigar ever, because he becomes an absolute monster.
As we see, Gaming can't go up against Crusader, though, has to use the flash, and Crusader will not chase any further, as he sees the rotation coming in for Field of Vern as well. But he is Mega, so should be fine. But quick note here on the souls, though, for Flying Ninja, he currently has 140 extra AP. So not at the 1,000 mark yet, only at about 290 so far.
Only he's roughly averaging just under 10 AP per minute here, and that's a horrific thought when you think about it, especially when he finally picks up the death cap. And we do see Dragon being taken here, Inferno by DDB, so they've got cooldown reduction, they've got even more damage. Primordial Burst is gonna chunk.
Oh, nice flash coming in from Dark Melody to dodge that Q, goes right in, and El Dragon is dead immediately, but the shutdown comes up the side of Flying Ninja as well. He's fighting up the back side. But Pachatori and Crusader are both alive, but both these carries need to survive, and they do so. But Abyssal Galaxy get away with a 3 for nothing.
Yeah, and that was a great engage there, coming in from the side of Abyssal Galaxy. They got the fight they wanted there. They managed to start off with that Nature's Grass, and that isolated Flying Ninja and Pachatori, pardon me. Flying Ninja instantly got burst out. They identified Flying Ninja as the threat. They took him out. Primordial Burst wasn't even used in that fight, and Field of Vern just able to run through the Ragnarok. That's how they need to keep fighting. They did have the stronger champions. They kind of do still have more gold now. It might not feel that way to them because of the even kill score, but they're actually stronger, and they need to take advantage of that. Pick these sort of fights. Don't fight sort of weird small skirmishes. Wait till your tank arrives and you can actually get on to that backline there. And one other thing I want to note, the Thani dying once again under turret. I really don't know what's going on with this Rek'Sai, but that's, I think, the 4th time he's died by diving under a turret there, and the 5th time he's died by overextending.
Like, it is quite unfortunate. I think Rek'Sai just sees blood in his eyes, because it's funny, because I thought Rek'Sai couldn't see, unfortunately. But, you know, maybe the Thani is seeing something that we are not, though. That being said, prepare to summon up onto the top side, but so far, it's a bit interesting place to go in and put the Rift Herald. I know I feel the Vern had still put a lot of time into it. Maybe. I think, honestly, that's probably a misclick. He was probably just trying to ward, though. So that is probably unfortunate. But with that being said, so far, this game right now is the closest we've seen from either team. It is just so back and forth, back and forth. Like, it feels as though, like both sides have a small little edge. Like, I think it could go either way.
100%. Right now, everything is very close, and that might change topside.
Solius, though, commits the flash to get the kill, but still, the 2v1. Flying Ninja still gets 1 kill, though. Crusader gets locked up. A lot of damage on Sweet Dark Melody. 1 more Q, but he just is not in range.
And now, the Thani is somehow on the wrong side of things here. He has to be careful.
The Thani's usually in this position, though, yet again, but gets the knock up onto the Olaf. Well, together just barely still dies for it, though. Unfortunately, also has Ragnar available onto El Dragon. Will kill him as well as Pachatori goes down too. And that's such a late TP from Crusader. Why would you TP that? Why?
Crusader showing off the team spirit here for DBB. If you're gonna die, we'll all die together. He teleports in literally to die there. He was already low on health when he showed up. I don't believe he was Mega at that point in time, so he literally was just spoon-feeding kills here to Abyssal Galaxy. And, I mean, Abyssal Galaxy seems like they're the better high-tempo team, it feels like. They're the ones making better decisions. And I use better here very, very loosely, because they did kind of throw a little bit. But they seem to be the ones able to find sort of plays here when they're forcing quick decisions. So that's good for Abyssal.
Nice. That's on the slowly. But Flying Ninja goes so deep, holding for a little bit longer, but still 1-for-1 so far. As a Void Rush yet again from the Thani, and it pays off for the first time for him as he is able to survive. Though that's first.
Yeah, finally. He's starting to get tanky enough. Maybe. I mean, he's got the Giants belt, so I think if he builds tank, he should be fine. But he needs to start looking for these kills. And Flying Ninja right now on that Vigor, he's 6-4-4, and it's disgusting what he's doing. He hasn't even built his death cap yet. Anytime you catch him, he turns around and kills you. Solius 3-4-4, and it's not because Solius is playing poorly. It's just that he has no magic resistance against Flying Ninja. So when he gets the charm off, if he doesn't have enough burst, remember how I talked about Ari has been changed this patch? Well, with the damage reduction, she's not able to one-shot. And if she can't one-shot, if Flying Ninja gets any damage down, the Primordial Burst follows up, he trades kill for kill. So DDB, pardon me, right now can afford to scale. They can afford to take these one-for-one trades. Abyssal, on the other hand, can't. Their scaling is not as strong, but they are extremely strong in the mid game, which is right now 7-3-6 on Poro there. The Storm Razors and IE completed, and right now, no one, absolutely no one can handle the Caitlyn 1v1, not even that supposedly fed Crusader or even Flying Ninja, because he just simply outranges Flying Ninja.
Like pretty easily, he definitely does go ahead, outranges him. But right now, the way I'm looking at it with this state of the game, like DDB do seem to have just a little bit of a kind of an unmatched state of the game on it though. But what I'm looking at so far is once Abyssal Galaxy gets enough resistances on their side, they should be able to fight DDB on overall even standing. But Pachatory still doesn't have the IE. Once you just go on to get the second item, but the Thani in the middle of two has a double buffs though, but should be able to get out maybe. Ace the whole outlets with a sliver of health as El Dragon steps into the Primordial Burst, as Solis also barely dying. Rocky will not find anybody at all down here on the side. Try to kite away as long as he can. Crusader 2 not make it just yet. Event Horizon in, preventing any sort of engage so far though, as there's a bit of an even state. Crusader wants to look for an engage. The Thani is way too far forward. Mate, you gotta step back.
Yeah, and again, a lot of that coming off just the Thani's forcing his team to fight when they don't want to fight. He got caught out, and I use the word caught out isn't the right term because technically it should have been a two-man gank onto Sweet Dark Melody, but the Thani was too far up and he's too squishy. Sweet Dark Melody has built a grand total of 0 damage items, or fine, I'll give him a half a damage item from Bami Cinder, and he still almost killed the Thani right now. The Thani level 11, he's not behind in levels, he's just behind in. He just feels really, really weak right now for some odd reason. And because of that, Abyssal Galaxy finally get their first Drake of the game. It's going to be the Mountain Drake. You're talking about resistances. Well, this is one way to stack them.
This is exactly one way to do so. And like, you know, the Thani had to go ahead and get rolling early game. Rexa had to make a difference, but it's like, unfortunately, she just fell way too far behind. She does have the farm, but just like you were saying here, she just feels as though she's just not able to perform like really up to par for the power of the Rex Center, which it can be. Plus opting in also for the Warriors as instead of Cinderhulk instead. So it's like just having a bit of the damage as we see. The Crusader might be caught out. You could have kept going with the back, my friend. Oh, that was so unfortunate as he will die as well. But the kill went on the Gaming Kitten, so not the worst case.
Yeah, but that also does mean that Baron is now wide open here. The Thani coming out of base, he should be able to get to Baron in time, and it's going to be a desperate defense here. We'll have to see if Flying Ninja can do anything, because he's 6-4-4. He's the one the team has to look at in order to try and make plays, but right now they have no vision in there.
No, they have no vision at all here. Baron takes off quite slow, but slowly but steady, he does go ahead and win the race to El Dragon. Not able to land the binding at all, but Purgatory is here as well. Although, Baron is on the sliver health. Oh my god, Flying Kitten too. They're also low. The Thani goes in, can she get the steal? Oh, but Smite does not go their way. As Thani uses Void Rush to barely survive. Does not get out. Kill going over to Solius, and that is Baron for the side of Abyssal Galaxy.
Valiant attempt there by the Thani. He almost got it. It was actually really, really, really close. Unfortunately, just a little bit off. And what amazed me was the Gaming Kitten survived that somehow. I mean, was it 20 health again? Getting just barely out of the fight and setting Baron on all 5 members of Abyssal Galaxy. It's 24 minutes. We've got 34 kills across both teams here, and it's looking like we're going to get more.
Flash out to Solius too, going immediately onto the Vagar. But he's level 13. He has a spooky ghost, and because she's online, he has 211 extra AP You know how much AP that is, right? Randomly caster? How much AP? Guess.
What, two death caps?
No, that's 463 AP. So just about.
No, no, yeah, yeah, and he has picked up the death cap as well now. So, oh no, sorry, he has. That's Solia. So that's before death cap. So that's a huge item breakpoint that we want to watch for, because the moment he picks up the death cap, he might actually be able to like pretty much one shot even Fuel the Vern as well. And probably the only person who can survive a combo would be Sweet Dark Melody, and that would be an absolute problem if nobody from Abyssal Galaxy can actually reach Pachatory in that backline.
Yeah, because right now too, we're seeing as well. Speaking of the backline, Crusader was a shining point here on the side of DDB, but right now, though, unfortunately for Crusader, it's like he has to go ahead and opt for much more armor, allowing to go for the Abyssal Mass next as well. Just not able to work up to the much more of his damage type items that like even going in, even going in for the Frozen Mallet, I think he can't opt in for that because his team needs him to be more of a front line because Danny just cannot be.
And to be fair, he doesn't have to worry too much about putting out damage here. Sure, he can't split push quite as effectively, but a Black Cleaver and Frozen Mallet will probably already be enough to handle Sweet Dark Melody in the side lane there. And instead, I actually want to talk a bit about the game state for both teams right now, because I'm not sure anything's going to come up this top lane.
Yeah, Dark Melody though right now should be able to pretty much just survive against Crusader's assault, and is actually coming out on top of these trades as well. The Maokai, we're saying before, he has Spectre's Cow and Sunfire. He's too tanky for you.
The two fat tanks going at each other. Yeah, so the game state right now is that AG looks like they're really strong. They're up about 7,000 gold. They're up 5 kills. They have Baron and they've got 5 turrets. You contrast that to DDB. They've got 0 turrets here, which is why they're down so deep in terms of gold. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like DDB is out of options yet. It still feels like they can turn it at any moment. And a lot of that is sitting on Flying Ninja. So Abyssal Galaxy kind of needs to close this one out, because the longer it goes, the less their gold leads mean. Because gold leads are usually important because it means power. But there's so many other things like dragons, which don't show up in your gold lead, or the stacking passive from Vigar, which doesn't show in gold leads. And as you said, 211 was about 400 something AP or something. Was
217, 469.
69. Okay, so he's got 469 AP and 217 additional. That's a lot of unshown gold here.
As we see just how much damage he does, a Sweet Dark Melody, Primordial Bust will not get him just yet. He goes in the middle of 3, just trying to just delay them back and forth as his team will go ahead and take the Earthdrake as well. And finally, that kill being gifted over to the side of Pachatory, who is finally on 2 items.
They trade Sweet Dark Melody for that Mountain Drake. I think it's a worthwhile trade, because look at how tanky he already is. Now add another Mountain Drake.
Oh, Flying Ninja living with the gold and going into the Abyssal Mass. Solius will finally die too, though, but so will the Danny. So honestly, overall, what else is new? As that was massive Q coming in for Gaming Kitten to take a double kill for this Karma. That was clean coming out of them as they're looking to try to break open the base, but Pachatory is quite strong at this moment.
Kitten coming huge with that Mantra Inner Flame coming out. That might have made all the difference, because she got a double kill on that, and that's allowing them to sort of push in here. There's no more Baron buff, but they should most likely be able to get this inhibitor turret at least.
Yeah, definitely should be able to, as Caitlyn along with Olaf trying to go for more to siege the composition. The turret will go ahead and open, and they're on to Pachatory immediately. Flashes in, W's out, lightning strikes twice here onto the Jigs. I feel the Vert in some trouble, a lot of damage already out. Will die to the tower and El Dragon. The Laird CC coming onto this killing as well means that there'll be double shutdowns, but they both go onto the Morgana.
And Gaming Kitten's not going to be able to get away either. The flash comes out, the slow. No, she's able to maybe run away.
No, Void Rush out. That's it. Shut down here for the Thani, but she will die doing so here. What else is new?
Extension counter up to 6 now, I believe, for the Thani after that dive. Again, I know that he wants to get the kills. That's and it's great that he got the kill, but trading your jungler for support is kind of not worth it. Thankfully, though, there's no major objective up on the map right now. The Thani will have respawned by the time Baron comes up in about 30 seconds. So not the worst of things. And again, it feels almost like DDB, first of all, is mounting an amazing defense. They're refusing to die here. Abyssal Galaxy overextending a little bit. They should have just taken the inhibitor turret and left. Chasing under a turret, that was just greed. And Field of Burn actually got stuck under the turret there. Took the additional 2 turret shots. I'm not sure what caused him to get stuck, but he just seemed to not be able to leave that turret space. And suddenly, 30 minutes, the kill lead has not grown. It's the same as it was a couple of minutes ago. 5 kill differential here. The gold lead, I think, is actually shrunk down a little bit since the last Baron has gone down, and DDB looking in a better shape than they were 5 minutes ago. Baron is now on the table. Everybody's alive, and so we'll have to see if who gets Baron and what they can really do with it, because Abyssal Galaxy didn't achieve all that much with their last Baron buff.
Not much at all. They did go ahead and open the gates here, the bases for DDB. But the question now really overall is like, really, I would say the word of the game, Rainy Caster, is overzealousness, right? Diving in just a bit too far to go for these kills in a tunnel vision with Flying Ninja, staying alive for a bit, for just a second longer here. He does go and die finally. That kill going over to Solius, so shout out to him. But Arya ult is usable with Flying Ninja down and Baron up though. This should be this should be the call for going on to Baron for Abyssal Galaxy.
For sure. The question is, can they get it? Probably, because DDB is not actually contesting this, surprisingly. I think they're going to go for the snipe. Pachitory in position, prepping that super mega death rocket to come across. But do they do actually have vision, just barely, and it's going to be late. They do not secure the Baron.
It's just a little bit slow. That was so close. Honestly, if they got that snipe, I might have yelled. I might have just like dropped out of my seat, because that would have been absolutely phenomenal. And would also given DDB a way to get back into the game, you know, like even the game states for a little bit longer, and allow them to farm too, so they can go ahead and hit more and more of these power spikes. Because as you were saying, it doesn't seem as though Flying Ninja is actually opting into the Rabadons. It looks like it'll be a Rylai's here.
He's just going this sort of straight defensive sort of Vygar build. And while Death Cap is amazingly great and synergizes well with Vygar, it's not the end-all. You don't actually need it. And he's bursting hard enough anyways that it's pretty much Sweet Dark Melody who's surviving the burst. Maybe a bit of Field of Vern. And now we are seeing the Dragon being contested here. Surprising. Baron buff doesn't give quite as much stats as it used to, but it still does give quite a bit of combat stats. And if DDB can sort of keep this Dragon Siege going, this back and forth, they win out, because they are burning valuable Baron time that isn't being used to push minions in. And it's only for third Drake here, the Mountain Drake. While it's great and stacking Mountain Drake is great too, it's not worth it.
Yeah, pretty easily, as we're seeing. Solius goes in a bit too far, gets caught up at the end. Has to with the third dash, just barely get out though, but we're seeing Field of Vern trying to just charge in for the engage. Maokai gets tracked them up, 2 up on the backside. We're seeing about this before here, like Abyssal Galaxy doesn't really have all that strong of a gauge. They need to pretty much just run at DDB to get it. But Danny going for the steal. The smite will not land. I feel the vertical go on to the slow point. Danny will die as well for that. As that'll be pretty much it. This is what the Baron buff was used for, Minicaster.
Well, you went and got Baron and you traded it for a Mountain Drake. If they get Mountain Soul, I would say it's worth it for Abyssal Galaxy. So I'll withhold judgment for now. Right now, it's not looking like a great trade, but keep in mind that each of these Mountain Drakes is a 6% armor and magic resistance. So if you get 4 of them, that's 24%. That's actually a huge amount. Additional, you get the shield. So if they get that, that's fine. But if not, that was a huge wave, because their Baron buff is already, almost half out at this point? No, almost completely out. I think they've got 40 seconds left on it. So they get one more wave pushing in effectively to try and make something happen.
The question is, can they though? Sweet Dark Melody fighting in the middle of 2. Sorry, fighting with 2. El Dragon caught out yet again, unfortunately.
Yeah, like you said, overzealous seems to be the theme of the day here, especially in Game 3. El Dragon getting caught out, and the Spirit Rush is on such a short cooldown. Headshot as well. It will be up by the time the next major fight or the next major objective comes out.
I mean, that next major objective might as well be the base here, or the overall Nexus, as a massive crit going on to Flying Ninja here. But because this is a 4v5, this is the right engage. So automatically flashes in, cannot find anybody with the W. As a kind of back and forth, Pachitory getting huge hits down. He'll use to keep them topped up. But here come the kitty cats to try to lock them down, but they will not find anybody though as Abyssal Galaxy go ahead and back off.
The Vern might be getting caught out here, but has to seem to back it up. And first of all, I want to address that hit shot that came out of Angelic Poro. That should be illegal. That is not okay. The amount of damage Pachituri took, almost died right off one headshot there. If anything else had hit, he might very well have dropped. That's not okay, and that's going to make things very difficult because the whole idea of Jinx is that she has such long range that she can hit people from safety, and to reach her, you got to dive through her entire front line. But if Caitlyn can two-shot her, well, Caitlyn's range is not that different from, I believe it's Powwow, the rockets coming out of Jinx there. So if Angelic Poro can two-shot you, then suddenly the Jinx pick is a lot less valuable here.
It is Powwow. Honestly, I'm impressed that you remember that Humini caster. Hats off to you. 2 claps. I like that. But small update to also on Flying Ninja. He's gone for the Void Staff instead. So just he wants to one-shot everybody. He wants to make sure of that soon. Looking a bit at that AP as well for the update. 275 extra AP, sitting at just over 600 total AP for himself.
One thing that's going to happen with that sort of passive stacking here for Flying Ninjas, that's actually going to slow down a little bit. We're already starting to see it slow down. In laning phase, he was getting almost 10 a minute. But that's going to drop here simply because he's not having as many minions that he can farm up quite as freely. A lot of that AP stacking will be more from just hitting enemy champions. And we are now seeing what potentially could be the next big fight. And at this point in the game, 36 minutes, the next big team fight could very well decide the course of the rest of this game.
Honest. Yeah, sorry to cut you off the main cast. I was going to say here, Baron Power, just like super minions are coming into the base here for DDB. So this will go ahead and get that off. As you see, Solis is splitting up onto the side. He's going under the back line though. Gets a Q, a little bit of damage. The Spirit rushes out immediately though. But like at this point, they just need an engage. They need a pick. They need something like a fight, like to be able to actually break open the base because almost every single tower is down for the side of DDB.
Yeah, relying on some of that those crit headshots here. And meanwhile, you see Sweet Dark Melody just split pushing. With that Demolish proc, he should be able to take this top lane inhibitor. There we go.
Yeah, pretty easy. So yeah, just he called it, and Eldrad gone. Unfortunately, caught it yet again. Wolfro and a Flash going, just getting it out. Dark Melody up on the back side, and Olaf with the Ragnarok trying to discharge them in, but Sweet Dark Melody would actually die for the engage. That was absolutely crazy, but the question is right now, do AG want to go in? Do they want to fight this? And yes, they do. As Poro fighting up on the backside, minions are in, but Pachituri will clear them all out as Field of Vern trying to break apart the base here one by one.
Gaming Kid has to be careful. He doesn't have an escape over the wall. Does have the team backing it up.
You got Daddy going into, immediately gets so low and uses the Void Rush to try to start to survive, but oh no! He steps into a Gnar and will die too as well for it. Feel the murder to flash out over the backside. As look at the damage coming out of Flying Ninja. This Veigar is completely online, and Pachituri is as well. 3-4 items currently on this Jinx. She's just tearing through all of these health bars, and AG did the Cardinal skin. They let DDB scale.
Yeah, and because of that, they might have to give this one up. Pachituri and Dragon actually have to be really careful here. They're both kind of squishy, and Black Shield's great and all that, but it's not going to save you from a full rotation coming out of Solius with a Death Cap, with Ludens, and a Zhonya's as well.
But we see Sweet Dark Melody is here though, and the TP coming in with the Gnar, but Eldrad gone, gets the stun. Pachituri is dead, but the Brigade will go ahead and get out alive. When do you ever see that? The ADC for support, but a huge Gnar into the wall, onto the tank. That won't make much of a difference. Solius will stay alive for one more second. And here is the Maokai, the tree, begging for the Tree of Life to save him. But we see Primordial burst out. That's another double here for Flying Ninja, as that is his 12th of the game.
And this is just absolutely brutal to watch right now. Overstaying from both teams here. I actually thought Abyssal Galaxy had a pretty good shot of winning the game, but they kind of overstayed, and then, yeah, they kind of threw in. Now, the Dragon.
Yeah, Field of Vern goes in. Nice smite coming in from Thani to go and steal the Dragon away, though. But Ragnar are out. Thani will go ahead and die. Now, considering there are 2 dead, well, at least Thani's there for another 45 seconds. The call is being made for Baron, but I think they got to go for the base here, Minicaster.
Yeah, they could. The base is a little bit dicier here for them, just because they've only got 3 members up alive. So Baron is a bit of the safer call. They've got super minions pushing the top side. They've got minions pushing in the mid wave, or they had a pushing wave in the mid wave. So I think Baron is the safe call. They take that, they're fine. And to be fair to the side of DDB, they had to take that dragon. That was not an option for them because it was Mountain Soul. And is the steal? No.
Oh, no, unfortunately not here. Rocket comes in a little bit too late, though, as that is, I believe, the third Baron of the game here, Minicaster. We
It
are
is.
well into the late game, and this is right around the time here both Olaf and Fanny start to fall off right now, too. And the damage coming in from the Jinx, that damage also coming in from the Jinx, along with the Vagar, is reigning supreme. Even Angelic Poro, the headshots too you see are disgusting, but the question is, can he land them?
Yeah, and can he land them on the appropriate targets, more importantly? Killing Thani at this point doesn't even matter. Like, the Thani, he's been irrelevant for most of the game. Even if he were to go down right now, it wouldn't be the end of the world. In fact, soaking up damage as a tank is great for him. So right now, Angelic Poro, Caitlyn's great, but can you match up to a Runan's Hurricane in a team fight? No, you can't.
As the Rabadons is out for Flying Ninja, and he has reached that 1,000 AP standalone time, though. So much on Solis with just a Q, though, in mid inhib down yet again, as is top inhib as well, though. And finally, I think right now here, AG looking to try to go ahead and close out the game, but Flying Ninja is dangerous, and the damage he does is disgusting. On the towers, the command goes in, but we see they all stunned up to go on to it. Crusader is down, but so is Gaming Kitten on the backside. Flying Ninjas flying the Qs away. The stuns here are huge, but finally we see Patch 20 will die and Angelic Poro will live. That's a bit of the ADC diff. We're seeing back and forth, though. They go ahead and get the tower, but they just cannot get the base. Oh my god, it's so close. The stun from Vega, keeping them alive for a little bit longer. And Angelic, Poro, and Sweet Dark Melody, the only ones to stay alive at this 42-minute barn burner of a game. Abyssal Galaxy will take the series.
I can almost forgive these two teams for the incredible delay and the reset they gave us in Game 3 for this performance. That was amazingly clutch at the very end there. And ladies and gents, this is why you ban Caitlyn. It is not okay. 13, 5, and 14. Angelic Poro's final damage. And if we look at the damage charge, Poro actually didn't do the most damage. Not surprisingly, it was Flying Ninja who did the most damage, but it was a pretty darn close race there. Both of them pumping out more than 40,000 damage. It's absolutely incredible. And frankly, if Abyssal had lost that last fight, if they could not take the Nexus down at that point, Dirty Diet Brigade wins the game at that point, because it's just stretching so long. You saw how much damage Jinx could put out. You saw Vigar just shredding people. That Primordial Burst on Solius with 0 prior damage chunked 60% with no execute bonus. So that was just raw base damage without the execute. That was just way too disgusting.
Absolutely insane here coming out of these teams. Random Minion Caster, though, and the third game had to be the one which completely went the distance, and well worth it here too, though. With that being said, I thank you all for watching Riz and Esports. Random Minion Caster, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm there, Random M Caster, and I'm medium.com posting articles as well. Random Minion Caster there too.
Look at that here. This man is not only a caster, but a scholar. And you can go ahead and also find me here at Ravish and Ravish, pretty much everywhere, or RAVISHKHANNA_. Also, big shout out to our producer, Gala, for killing it on the production for so long. He stuck with us for so much. And like, honestly, just big shout out to him. But thank you all for watching yet again, and have a wonderful night.